under the lights in Piscataway as the Rutgers Scarlet Knights take the field, getting set to host the Michigan Wolverines. Football on the Big Ten Network is presented by Hampton by Hilton. The 8-0, fifth-ranked Michigan Wolverines take their perfect record on the road to take on the Scarlet Knights in New Jersey. First rendition of the college football playoff bracket released this week. Michigan just on the outside looking in, but remember, already today, number 1 ranked Tennessee fell against the Georgia Bulldogs. And with that, we welcome you up to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Jake Butt. So Michigan, when the first poll was released for the college football playoff, you just saw it, they are on the outside looking in. Now, it's still early. That's going to change a lot. But I think Jim Harbaugh and these players were a little surprised that they weren't either third or fourth.
Oh, Brandon, I kind of got a funny feeling that their season's going to come down to that game in late November in Columbus. But that being said, context matters. We saw number 1 Tennessee go down. Ohio State plays Northwestern today. They won, but it didn't exactly look great. So Michigan's got an opportunity. They got to handle business, but to make a statement win to the committee and prove, hey, not only should we be in the top 4, but maybe number 3, maybe number 2.
They've been so good, and of course Blake Corum running the football has been so good, a Heisman candidate. Last week, already over 1,000 yards rushing and 14 rushing touchdowns, second most in the country.
He's been great, and really, as you talk about the playoff berth, it never hurts to have a Heisman candidate in your backfield. And again, the context matters of where Blake is. Here's some of the opponents he's going up against. Hendon Hooker didn't play his best game, and his team lost today. Now, C.J. Stroud, they came out with a win. Again, he didn't have a Heisman-type performance. We know Jim Harbaugh has an identity. They're going to feed Blake Corum all day. It's a chance for him to notch another Heisman-type performance of his own on his belt.
For Rutgers, look, if they're going to pull off the upset tonight, they know it's going to take a near-perfect effort, and they're going to have to get better production from their quarterback position. Gavin Wimsatt, the freshman, will get his 3rd career start. It's been a rotating carousel at quarterback. They're hoping that they have found something special in this young freshman.
They believe he can be special, too, and that's what the film says. He has all the physical talent to make any throw across the field. He's got the athleticism to hurt you with your feet as well. But when we talk to Coach Schiano, it's more about the process than the results. He doesn't need to play a perfect game today, but you want to see him improve. Accuracy, his eyes, his feet, everything comes back to fundamentals. And then for the guys around him, the receivers got to clean up some of the drops. They got to establish some type of run game to maximize the potential of this young, talented quarterback.
See how he plays tonight, 3rd career start. Michigan, meanwhile, a couple of late-breaking injury updates. And for more on that, we go down to Rick Pizzo.
Well, Brandon, as the lights flicker on and off just before kickoff, it was about an hour ago that we got late word from Michigan that a half dozen significant contributors, including 4 starters, would not play tonight. We start on the offensive side. You won't see wide receiver Roman Wilson or starting offensive lineman Ryan Hayes. Defensively, both Makari, Page, and Jalen Harrell also out. Jamon Green banged up. He was a game-time decision, took part in warm-ups, and is expected to play. As for Rutgers, Greg Schiano understand. During his 2nd rebuild, there are seminal moments when going through this process. He told us on Friday this could be one of those moments. At home, under the lights, against a top 5 opponent. The team has worked toward that all week, but not today. Schiano says today is the day to enjoy it, play your best, and perhaps be part of that moment that changes this program forever.
All right, Rick, tremendous atmosphere here tonight in Piscataway. Smoke filling the evening air. Balmy temperatures for this time of year. Rutgers wins the toss. Michigan receives, and it begins with a touchback. So we will see this Michigan offense to get the party started. Piloted by their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. Took over week 2 for Cade McNamara. Has not lost a game since, and he's been pretty good under center.
Yeah, they're excited about him. You know, his accuracy is phenomenal. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the entire country, but his yards per completion, yards per attempt isn't exactly I don't think to his full potential. What I'd like to see is for Sharon Moore and Matt Weiss, let J.J. throw the ball down the field a little bit more and showcase some of that arm talent.
But those short passes have led him to that high completion percentage, tops in the country. And he's going to start through the air here off a play fake. And he does toss it downfield. How about that? Right off the bat, finding his top target, Ronnie Bell, his 40th catch of the season. Well, you just said maybe go for some longer plays, and they hit that one for 35.
And this is one of their better downfield passes. You know, I was ready teed up to talk about the Michigan run game. I think Rutgers was too. They flashed the play action to get J.J. out on the run, out to the edge of the defense where he's really comfortable on the move and hits his favorite target in Ronnie Bell.
So McCarthy comes into the game 87th in the country on yards per completion, but his first toss, 35 yards to Bell. And a quick 2 for 2, this one of the shorter variety to Andrell Anthony. This offensive lineup, number 5 rushing attack, but the big note, and Rick told you, a first-time starter at left tackle in Jeffrey Percy because Ryan Hayes is banged up today, Jake.
Well, they got one of the best offensive line coaches, in my opinion, in Sharon Moore, and he's done a phenomenal job of building this group from the top down. This is something they practice throughout spring, throughout fall camp. It's a chance for a young guy to get his first start.
He has had some spot playing time over the last couple of years. Meanwhile, Corum trying to get things going on his first carry, but Christian Izzian and company dropping him down around the line of scrimmage. And this Rutgers defense was on the field last week in that loss to Minnesota for over 41 minutes.
Yeah, that was uncharacteristic. Really, their run defense outside of that game and maybe the Ohio State game had been one of the better run defenses in the country. Last week, uncharacteristic. Michigan's going to do the same thing. They're going to challenge them in terms of time of possession and physicality in the run game. If Rutgers wants to win, they're going to have to get off the field.
3rd down and 3. Handoff up the middle. They're not going to get off the field. 1st down and more. Corum into the open. Diving. Touchdown. Blake Corum, his 15th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Heisman candidate strikes again from 33 yards out. Well, there was a penalty that got thrown here in the midst of this, so bring it back.
Well, the penalty takes it away, but this left side of the offensive line, this is what we're going to see throughout the day. Their physicality and their ability to generate holes. You see him climb, you see him eat up blocks and really block out the Rutgers defense, but again, huge play here in the penalty to take away not just a first down, a touchdown, an explosive gain. And now all of a sudden you're in 3rd and long. And if there's one knock on JJ, it's been his completion percentage has significantly dropped in 3rd down and long situations.
That was an illegal formation penalty that obviously looms large here early. So now 3rd down and 8. Some pressure off the edge. McCarthy escapes and takes it down to the 25-yard line and picks up the first down. We say it a lot, but that's the threat of J.J. McCarthy, scrambling 12 yards, and they move the chains.
And they'll build that in organically in terms of read options and some designed quarterback runs, but that's what makes him so dangerous. That's a big reason of why they wanted to get to him as the starting quarterback there earlier in the season. When he tucks it and runs, he is such a dangerous quarterback, not just with his speed, but his cutting ability and vision.
He had 50 yards rushing last week in the 29-7 win over Michigan State. Edwards checks in the game. Here's his first carry. And he's in the red zone and all the way down to the 14. What a luxury to not only have Blake Corum, but then to have another guy in Donovan Edwards who can come in and carry the football.
Don't even want to call him a backup. He's got that kind of talent. He's a former 5-star. He's got all the talent in the world. He would start at a lot of places. And you want to talk about a 1-2 punch. Jim Harbaugh, as long as he's been coaching, wants to run the ball, and he's got 2 great options in his backfield.
Back-to-back 12-yard gains. McCarthy had one to pick up the first down. 12 more there from Donovan Edwards. And we hit the 12-minute mark of the first quarter. Edwards again able to slip through. So that Michigan ground game that has been so good this year, number 5 in the country, 276 yards last week. And they're moving it on the ground here on the opening drive.
Here they are down in the red zone where it's no mystery. They need to score more touchdowns, especially down the stretch of this season. But the thing is they don't want to change their identity. They want to continue to run the ball all over the field. The challenge is the field gets a lot tighter down here. It's a lot tougher to run because those safeties, you'll see them, they're sitting about 6 yards. They don't need to cover 25 yards deep. They're much more quick to the run game.
Up the middle, Corum. And that Rutgers defense stands tall. Yeah, Jake, to continue that point, you saw the percentage, but they've had 44 red zone trips, 28 touchdowns, really something they're trying to improve upon.
And everything gets tighter down into the red zone. Again, it's going to be a lot harder to run the ball down here. We're going to see the safeties alignment pre-snap, but what ends up happening is it's going to be a bang-bang throw. It's got to be a contested catch for your receivers. It's got to be an accurate, tight window throw for JJ. Two guys I'm looking out for is Ronnie Bell and Luke Schoonmaker. Those are his favorite targets. As you see here, here's your safety. He's really sitting about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Traditionally plays about 10, 11 yards.
Timeout. Michigan, they're first of the half.
Jim Harbaugh
Timeout
takes the
field.
timeout before a 3rd down and 2. Tonight's Impact Players brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance.
Talk a lot about the Michigan run game. Well, a huge part of that is the Michigan offensive line, specifically the 3 interior guys. They're going up against an emerging player in Aaron Lewis, number 71 on the Rutgers defensive line, and Christian Izzian. We've already seen him show up with some tackles. He's an explosive downhill, really a linebacker. He's listed as a defensive back, but he plays often in the box.
3rd down and 2, up the middle, 1st and goal it will be after the carry by Blake Corum. You just highlighted the middle of that offensive line, and he ran right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, if you score with your man, right, if you win the line of scrimmage, then it makes it easy on the back. You see those guys just really mauling the Rutgers defensive line, and Blake could just run straight down the field before he even was contacted.
They're going to run up the middle again behind those big fellas, but Corum is going to be about a yard short. So you do have a first-time starting left tackle, but the middle maintains the same with Keegan, Oluwatimi, and Zach Zinner.
I'd imagine you might have 3 more downs down here, and you might see 3 straight runs to Blake Corum.
It's a drive that has already lasted 5 minutes. Blake Corum had a 33-yard touchdown run wiped out by an illegal formation a few plays ago. Going to get another opportunity, goes top shelf. No signal. They're going to say he's short. 3rd and goal.
Wow, I think that was Powell, number 22, meets Blake Corum in the hole. And that's an explosive back, Blake Corum. A lot of momentum, but he met a brick wall in Tyreen Powell.
Trying again up the middle. I don't think he got there. He's short, and it will be 4th and goal, and an early decision for Jim Harbaugh.
Well, you got to go for it, right? If your MO is to run the ball, you think you can get 1 yard, but this has been an excellent job of not just the Rutgers defensive line, but the linebackers, the secondary elements. They are flying downhill and winning the point of attack down here inside the 1.
They've had 3 cracks from the 1 or 2 yard line unsuccessful, but they're trying on 4th down. Same formula, and this time Corum is in. Touchdown, Michigan. And for the Heisman candidate, his 15th rushing touchdown of the season, 2nd most in the nation. Well, the 4th time was a charm there.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. That's what my dad told me.
Try again.
Exactly. Keep knocking on that door until someone answers. Again, running behind that big physical interior. Those 3 guys wasn't perfect. Got stoned a couple times, but ultimately found a way to kick down the door and get their talented running back, their Heisman candidate, Blake Corum, in the end zone.
And not feeling well over there on the sideline. Almost looked like he may have vomited or a dry heave as soon as he got over there. Yeah, he did. We are informed that he vomited on his way off the field, something that happened against Penn State as well for Corum, as the extra point is good. 7-0 Michigan.
Timeout.
Corum scored, vomited coming off the field, but appears to be okay now over there on the sideline. 7-0 Michigan. Champions Mindset presented by Hampton by Hilton.
No mystery. Got to get Corum carries if you're Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. And we've already seen red zone scoring come into play. 4 tries to score from inside the 1. For Rutgers, I thought that game against Minnesota, Mo Ibrahim had a big day. Didn't tell the full story. Had a lot of opportunities to tackle him and bring him down in the backfield. Just didn't get the job done. Starting a young quarterback, key for him is to play turnover-free football.
You got an 8-0 Michigan team, a Rutgers team that started the year 3-0 and now 4-4, and trying to get 2 more wins over the last 4 games to get bowl eligible. And we talked about their quarterback position. It's been a rotating carousel, but they have turned the keys over to a freshman that they say is about as talented of a quarterback as they've had here in Gavin Wimsatt. Now, last week in his second career start, numbers weren't great, but they still like his potential.
Yeah, the numbers don't tell the full story always. He certainly wasn't perfect, but when you turn on the tape, this guy's got a very, very live arm. He can make any throw he's asked to make. Really athletic. He broke off a massive run against Boston College earlier in the year. But for him, it's about, sometimes that live arm, it's like having a wild stallion. You got to tame it sometimes and learn how to throw the underneath routes with some touch.
Well, he'll start by handing it off to Kyle Monungai, and Monungai is able to stretch forward and get 3 to make it 2nd down and 7. Now, this Rutgers offense shut out last week against Minnesota and only had 48 rushing yards in that game.
Yeah, and they've been beat up with injuries, losing Sam Brown at running back. He was a freshman that was really coming on strong, looking to be one of their big playmakers. But now it's about stepping up, and a big part of that is the offensive line. Identifying the second level as they double team up to the linebackers, being on the same page and then executing will be key to establish a run game.
Wimsatt's first throw, and it's high. Sean Ryan, we saw that a little bit last week when he missed up, and he did it again there. This Michigan defense, the issue last week with the tunnel incident against Michigan State, Jamon Green at cornerback, as Rick told you before the game, he's been cleared to play. Will we see him? That remains to be seen. Had a concussion after that altercation, the tunnel, and a cut above his right eye. Reserve defensive back Jaden McBurrows suffered a nose injury. Michigan State has announced suspensions of 8 players after that incident. The Big Ten Conference doing an ongoing investigation. As Wimsatt rolls out here on 3rd down and 7. And he throws it incomplete. There is no flag. He was trying to get it to Johnny Langan, but he was covered. And so Rutgers, not what they want after having their defense out there for so long. They go 3 and out.
No, it's definitely not what you want. But again, it's about little strides. You want to see some flashes for your young quarterback who's so talented. That time Michigan brought Mike Sainristil off the edge from a nickel blitz. He was completely unblocked, and in Wimsatt's face early, he was able to evade the rush, and there was just no separation down the field.
So Adam Korsak with the 316th punt of his career. He's thinking about running it, then at the last second, an awkward punt as he got hit by R.J. Moten. But I'll tell you what looked like disaster actually turns into an okay situation as he sent that inside the 20 for a 54-yard punt.
Never had a punt blocked in his career, Brandon.
Timeout on the field.
The streak almost ended there.
And it was Cornelius Johnson almost getting that punt block, but not to be.
As Michigan begins its second drive, you'll notice it's Donovan Edwards, not Blake Corum in the backfield. Now, don't worry, Michigan fans. It was just a matter of dehydration for Corum as he vomited coming off the field during the timeout while the offense was on the bench. He continued to hydrate even when he turned away the water bottle. A member of the staff was pushing it in his hands. He says he's good to go, but starting this drive with number 7.
It is Edwards, and he's going to carry tacklers out to the 24. Well, it is. Look, it's not like it's a 90-degree night, but it is balmy. Temperatures today got into the 70s, a near record high. By the way, don't forget to download the Fox Weather app. Current temperature, 69 degrees.
I'm up here sweating a bit. I think I need to Gatorade a little electrolytes.
But I think, you expect to be in New Jersey in November. You're thinking more like 39, 49 degrees, but not the case.
So Roman Wilson's out. That's Andrew Anthony in the slot. He's a talented sophomore that I'm excited to see him get involved more with this offense.
First down carry, and Roman Wilson out, another guy that was banged up. He also missed a game a few weeks ago with an injury. And Rick said it when we came on air, but a couple of key players on both sides out. There's still just so many weapons on this Michigan team.
Plethora of talent, man, and they can beat you in so many ways. Here he is, Andrew Anthony. Really, his coming out party was Michigan State last year. I think a lot of Michigan fans were excited to see him get more involved in the offense, but hasn't quite been to his full potential yet.
McCarthy is going to let one go deep, and he's got Anthony, but off his fingertips. Oh, you set it up perfectly, partner.
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought that was a good throw by J.J. McCarthy. I think Andrew Anthony actually slowed down to the top of his route. Really a great job, but as the ball's in the air, no, I'm wrong, actually. He ran right through that. J.J. just missed him. You know, they're both sophomores, and going back to last season when J.J. wasn't getting the start, J.J., Andrew Anthony, and Donovan Edwards would always come in on Sunday mornings and get that chemistry, get some extra routes and extra work together. That time, they might have needed an extra work on that route because he just missed him.
Could have been a huge play. Instead, not to be, and they give it to Donovan Edwards, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 4.
On some of those deeper balls, you know, the trajectory came out a little flat, and especially with that kind of separation, you almost want to put some more air underneath it so your receiver can adjust to it. Just doesn't give you that margin for error when it comes out more on a line drive. And for Rutgers, last week did not do a good job on 3rd down. 13 of 19, Minnesota was able to convert.
And they're going to stop Michigan here. The Scarlet Knights doing a fantastic job as Rainey comes up. A loss of 1. And on 4th down, Michigan will punt it.
And that's going to be huge. Again, last week, Minnesota found themselves in a 3rd down situation 19 times, but Rutgers allowed them to convert 13. This time, we're able to get off the field, get Michigan's offense off the field, and get the ball back to your team.
Troy Rainey, who made that tackle, is quite a story. Last year, he started 7 games on the offensive line at right guard. They moved him over to defense, and you can see why. He's had a big impact this season. Robbins has it blocked. Rutgers is going to scoop it up and take it in. Timmy Ward. And Rutgers is so good at blocking kicks. Max Melton got his hands on it. And then how about Ward scooping it and taking it in?
When you look at the anatomy of an upset, Brandon, it's starting fast and starting early. It starts with the defense forcing Michigan to bring their punt team on the field. And then when you have a touchdown on defense or special teams, your chances statistically of winning go way, way up. And that's a huge play by the Rutgers punt return team.
And what a switch in momentum. We're tied at 7. If you follow Greg Schiano's teams over the years, you know they are good on special teams. They block a lot of kicks. Melton is one of the best in the country at blocking it. He did that. Ward scoops it, and we are tied. Rutgers on offense, they have 0 first downs, 3 total yards, but yet we're tied because Max Melton got his 3rd blocked punt of the season, and Ward scooped it and scored it.
If there was ever a guy you had to identify for your punt team, it's him, and he came through completely untouched, unblocked. What a play, and the energy at SHI Stadium just ratcheted up a few levels. Oh, look at this, an onside kick! But it appears that Michigan was able to pounce on it. Jude McAtomney, the kicker, trying to surprise everybody, but the Wolverines avoid disaster. Well, let's go back to that block punt, Jake. So punt team is all about numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rutgers has 4 rushers. Michael Barrett is the personal protector. He's got to read this when there's an up and under from the rush team. You see it here. He starts all the way out there, but Michael Barrett loses his eyes and steps outside. He goes completely untouched through the hole. And, I mean, Brad Robbins didn't even have a chance to get that punt off. Again, PP stands for personal protector. You have to hold down those inside gaps, and Michael Barrett, I think he lost his eyes on that one. That's a huge play for Rutgers.
First time in 9 seasons that they've returned a block punt for a touchdown. But because of the onside kick, Michigan with great starting field position, they're going to take a shot, but it's incomplete. Walker the intended target, but the coverage was good by Avery Young and Robert Longerbeam.
And Rutgers brought the juice. That was a heavy blitz, and you got your talented freshman Amarion Walker, one of 3 early enrollee freshmen that Jim Harbaugh is so excited about. 6'3", 180. I saw him in warm-ups, man. He's got such great length and height. That time just couldn't come down with it down the field in one-on-one coverage. 4
pass attempts for McCarthy. 3 of them have been deep down the field. We talked about how he's been throwing short passes this year, not to start tonight. How about Corum? McCarthy lays a block, and Blake Corum is down the sideline. 1st and goal, Michigan.
All right, Michigan's offense struggling a little bit, had some mistakes. Blake Corum says, settle down, guys. I'll put the team on my back. The polar will lead you to the ball. That time, Zach Sinner pulls around, stones a linebacker. Blake Corum then breaks the tackle, and how about his quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, getting in there and throwing out a block, able to spring him down the sideline.
So he had the 33-yard touchdown run crossed out earlier because of a penalty. That one goes for 43. Now 11 carries of 20 or more yards this year for Corum, most in the nation, and he's replaced on this snap by Edwards. It is Edwards behind that offensive line and down inside the 4-yard line.
Back to the battlegrounds. Michigan took them 4 times inside the 1 to ultimately punch it in last time they were down here. Really, 3 of those 4 plays, you win from a Rutgers defensive standpoint. Here you are once again. I think inside the 5, it becomes an identity. Michigan knows they want to run the ball. Rutgers knows they want to run the ball. Who's going to win at the point of attack in terms of physicality?
Michigan is already over 100 yards rushing, 102. Corum gets another opportunity up the middle. No signal. They'll say he's short by about a half a yard. So that'll bring up 3rd and goal.
You notice how Schoonmaker went in motion, and then J.J. gets up and checks the ball. When he went in motion, no one from Rutgers defense traveled with him. So J.J. says, hey, that must mean zone. If it's man, someone travels with them. So then they check out of the play. They probably had a man-beating pass concept up, checked to a run, handed it off, and now they get it inside of the 1-yard line.
Go right back to Corum here from a half-yard out.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's your Heisman candidate. He's been your stud throughout the year, and he's one of the better offensive lines in the country.
Corum, the reigning Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. No, they don't give it to him. It's the first man through, but hang on, flags come flying here, so he's short anyway. So our referee, Jeff Cervinsky, is going to try to get this sorted out.
It's a big call here.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 12-minute formation. Half the distance to the goal line. Still 3rd down.
Okay, so they tried to hand it to Max Bredesen, the tight end. He couldn't get in.
Michigan was in heavy personnel last time. They had 4 tight ends. Now they're going back to 12 personnel, which means 2 tight ends, 1 running back, a little more space.
But 3rd and goal again. Corum trying to stay on his feet. They're going to say he's short. As Yogi Berra would say, it's deja vu all over again, just like the last drive.
Just watching that Rutgers defensive front, they're loaded in their stance pre-snap, and as soon as they see that ball move, they're exploding off the line. Again, we talked about who wins the point of attack wins down here, and so far in going on, this will be the 8th try Michigan has down inside the 5. You got to give credit to Rutgers defensive front 7. They have been winning this battle.
Michigan 7 of 8 on 4th down conversions this season, including the one on the opening drive. 5 times a Michigan ball carrier has been tackled at the 1 in this game. Timeout.
Timeout. Rutgers, they're first of the half.
Greg Schiano wants to talk it over before the 4th and goal.
30-second timeout.
Another 4th and goal for Michigan. Jim Harbaugh, he's been going with the ground game, understandably down here near the goal line. Will he do the same here? And there is a fan on the field. So that's why the play is paused. He's jumping around at the 50 and the 35-yard line, and a security officer just wrestled him on the sideline.
Gave himself up.
We did not give him his 10 seconds,
no.
His 15 seconds. And he is now handcuffed, 3 officers around him, and that will turn out to be a decision that he regrets.
Looks like he's wearing Timberland boots. Not exactly the best for agility and speed. And the cops were able to get a couple hats on the football and wrap him up.
4th and goal. 10th play inside Rutgers' 10-yard line for Michigan. Did they get in? Yes, touchdown. Well, it was not easy on these first 2 drives down near the goal line, but on the keeper, McCarthy scores it.
Got some help from his buddy Blake Corum. The initial push right there, I mean, it looks like he almost had trouble getting the snap and then really extends, shows off the flexibility and gets the ball over the goal line. But it was not easy. You're right, Brandon. All 8 of their plays inside that 1-yard line, Rutgers has given them everything they got.
Well, it is certain, and you said it a little bit ago, but Rutgers clearly came ready to play tonight. Jake Moody, Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, who was 5 of 5 on field goals in the win over Michigan State, knocks through his 2nd extra point of the evening. 14-7. Michigan will be back in 30 seconds. J.J. McCarthy with a sneak, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. Here are the impact players on this side of the football, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance.
Got a young quarterback in Gavin Wimsatt. Got 2 receivers here, Aaron Cruikshank and Sean Ryan. Another guy to look out for is the tight end, number 21, Johnny Langan. That's going to be one of his favorite targets throughout the day. And as Michigan tries to disguise their coverages, Rod Moore, he's been having a phenomenal season. He leads the team in interceptions, and Mike Sainristil, really the emotional leader, came over, was playing offense last year, converted to nickel and secondary this year, and he's been having a great season.
Moody kicks it through the back of the end zone. Well, next Saturday, we're all Big Ten all morning. In-depth previews of every conference matchup and tons of fun directly from Ann Arbor before the Wolverines host Nebraska. Big Ten Tailgate presented by Tums. That's next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern on Big Ten Network. Michigan obviously has dominated the time of possession. This was the same story for Rutgers last week when they had the football for only 19 minutes in that 31-0 loss against Minnesota. Handoff, Kyle Monungai. He's able to get 2. 2nd down and 8. How can this Rutgers offense start to get some traction?
It starts with getting that first down. Then you can get a little bit of momentum. You can get deeper into your playbook. But right now, special teams is showing up. Defense is handling their business and making it tough on Michigan. If you can find some light on offense, that's going to be a huge plus for this team as a whole.
Last time Rutgers went 3 and out. This is their 2nd drive. Their only points came off the block punt. Now, a little trick play. Wimsatt downfield intended for Cruikshank. Is there a flag? No. They say the coverage clean.
Really a great job by Michigan. They were in man coverage. When they started that initial motion, Mike Sainristil ran with them, letting you know it's going to be man-to-man. And all of Michigan's secondary had very, very disciplined eyes. You see DJ Turner running down the field with his man at the top of your screen. There's Mike Sainristil showing up man-to-man. They didn't get too aggressive. They didn't get undisciplined and try to go up and play the run. They just did their job, which was stick to their man for the extent of the play.
Greg Schiano is fired up, to say the least. He wanted a flag on Mike Sainristil, who, as you pointed out, was a wide receiver the last 4 years. before transitioning. They're going to take another shot down that sideline, and it's caught. What a grab by Sean Ryan. Going up and grabbing it over DJ Turner.
Number 57 helmet came off on the offense. He has to go out for one play. Result of the play is a first down.
And here's where you can see why they're so excited about Gavin Wimsatt. He's got all the talent in the world. That's a great job of throwing it top shelf for his tall receiver. Sean Ryan, 6'2", 200, and goes up and high points the ball like a basketball player. I mean, if there's one knock on this Michigan defense, it's been on some of these downfield throws. Teams have found success in one-on-one coverage, and that time Sean Ryan continued that trend.
37 yards for the fifth-year senior who's at his third school. Went to Temple, then West Virginia, and now playing for the Scarlet Knights in his final season.
Timeout Rutgers. They're second of the half.
Rutgers timeout will step aside for 30 seconds. Greg Schiano, 80 wins in his time at Rutgers, now in his second stint, most wins in Rutgers history. And his team down 14-7 here. And another nice pass play. Aaron Cruikshank with his first catch, his team-leading 28th grab of the season.
Great read by Wimsatt here. Second window throw. He flashes the run and then waits for the route to develop there by Cruikshank to get into that inside window. And again, the accuracy, too. It starts with his feet. It starts with his eyes, the fundamentals. That time he was right on target to his talented receiver in Cruikshank.
Rutgers' first 5 plays in this game went for 5 yards. Their last 2 plays have gone for 53. Gavin Wimsatt, redshirt freshman from Owensboro, Kentucky, who celebrated his 19th birthday last weekend in the loss against Minnesota. And that's going to wind us down to the end of the opening quarter. Rutgers, at least through one quarter, hanging tough with a number 5 team in the land. Football on the Big Ten Network is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Military Appreciation Night here at SHI Stadium. In front of a sellout crowd. That's why Rutgers is wearing the American flag helmets like they did last year on Military Appreciation Night. Wimsatt checks it down to Cruikshank, and Cruikshank is shoved out of bounds by Michael Barrett after a short gain of 1.
So down here in the red zone, you got some momentum. You obviously want to score a touchdown, but the big thing you want to do is avoid any mistakes. And that time, that was a good job by Wimsatt. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet heavy, but Michigan dropped back deep. There was nothing downfield. He got through all of his reads and was able to check it down to avoid a big play. And, you know, with our conversation in Schiano yesterday, said the big challenge for Wimsatt is let the bad play die. Live to fight another day, and that time he did exactly that.
Trying to teach the young redshirt freshman about that skill set as he takes the snap here, and he's going to run it. No, that is not him. Instead, it's Rashad Rochelle, who they said we might see. He's listed as a wide receiver, but he was recruited as an athlete. This is only the second game he's played in, and they say they can use him in a lot of different ways.
It's a good wrinkle. Athlete is a very fitting term for him. Yeah, he's a receiver, but he can carry the ball. He can do some things. That time lines up as the Wildcat quarterback. And we've talked about red zone offense enough today. This is where you really got to get creative as a play caller to try to give yourself a pre-snap advantage.
The only other game Rochelle played in this year was against Wagner, and he had 11 carries. So all 12 plays he's been in this year, he's run the football. Wimsatt going for Ryan, but Will Johnson, the talented 5-star freshman, the crown jewel of this 2022 class, was in the coverage. 4th down.
Crown jewel indeed. I know they're really excited about him. He's had a coming out party last week. It was his best game of the season against Michigan State, and they think he's ready to take that next step to really solidify the starting job, but show to everybody how talented he is. And Sean Ryan had that big catch down the sideline to start the drive. That time Will Johnson shut it down.
Jude McAtomney, who was a Division II kicker in North Carolina last year, his first season at Rutgers. From 32 yards, it is up and good. First offensive points of the night for the Scarlet Knights, and it pulls them back within 4. Football on the Big Ten Network is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Some memorable games of this matchup. 2014, Rutgers got its first Big Ten win against Michigan. 2016, Michigan wins 78-0, almost had 500 rushing yards. And then in the middle of the pandemic, a 3-overtime thriller. And the Wolverines escaped here in Piscataway 48-42. Last year in Ann Arbor was also close. It was 20-13, Michigan escaped. Henning from the 5-yard line. And A.J. Henning, who has sensational speed. A flag comes in here, so we'll see what happens. But for the moment, it's out at the 33-yard line. Jeff Cervinski.
During the return, holding, return team, number 31. 10-yard penalty, Michigan football, first down and 10.
An upset Jim Harbaugh. Conference standings brought to you by Discover. And Illinois losing today on the western side of things. Obviously on the east, all eyes on Ohio State and Michigan.
The West is just saying, somebody please take me control. Take control. And then the East, we talked about it in the pregame. It's these two teams, Ohio State and Michigan, seem to be on a collision course for their chance to get into the Big Ten championship and get into the college football playoff. But Michigan better not fall asleep out here. Rutgers came to play. They're giving them all they can handle.
And now, because of the penalty, you have to start this drive inside the 15-yard line. J.J. McCarthy fakes the handoff to Edwards, and he's hit as he lets it fly. And then also being hit is Ronnie Bell. Christian Izien, the senior, making his 38th start, hit him in the secondary, but you also had the quarterback taking a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, the hit affected the throw, but that was a very dangerous throw, really, between two guys. He's lucky Izien didn't get his eyes around because he would have had a chance to pick that one off.
It was Tyrene Powell who hit McCarthy, but he is ready to go for 2nd and 10. Underneath, caught. Out across the 20 to the 25 for the first down. Luke Schoonmaker, and you can hear the Michigan fans here saying Schoon, his first catch.
It's kind of a gadget play, but they really, really love this play. Luke Schoonmaker's there attached to the right side of the offensive line. He starts like he's in pass pro, and then look at the Rutgers defense vacate as Michigan's running all out-breaking routes. It's just a wide-open pocket to get essentially a check down to your talented tight end, able to move the chains, get 12 yards out of it.
Very talented tight end, second on the team in catches and yards behind Ronnie Bell. I'm up here with another very talented former Michigan tight end, Jake Butt. Handoff, and Donovan Edwards gets a couple. And don't forget about the talented Rick Pizzo and the talented Dean Blandino on the crew as well.
The crew, talented crew down in the truck. Holding it down, giving us some great graphics.
Bart Fox directing, Andrew Blaustein producing, not directing, Andrew Blaustein directing, and the rest of our great crew. Those two guys can talk to us in Our ear during the game, and as I screwed that up, they let me know about it right away. 2nd down and 8. McCarthy with a short drop, a clean pocket, incomplete though. Was trying to go back to Schoonmaker, and he's a little banged up. And once again, it was Christian Izien coming over to lay the lumber.
Had a chance there on the throw, just a little bit off, inaccurate to Schoon. First down was a great job. You blitz, you tackle Donovan Edwards, you get him to 2nd 8, then you force an incompletion, and now you force Michigan into 3rd and long. We saw McCarthy use his legs early to convert a 3rd and long in this situation. Rutgers is going to have to account for him on the ground as well as through the air.
McCarthy this time is going to try to throw it. It's batted down. Renee Conga The 285-pounder in the center of that D-line swats it away, and it'll be a punt for Michigan.
Well, and he might be really lucky there because McCarthy was trying to hit Ronnie Bell downfield, and he was double covered once again. But they say if you're a defensive lineman and you don't think you're going to be able to get to the rusher, get your hands up. Not just to affect the throw, but get a good job of batting the ball down there by Conga.
Remember, Robbins had the punt blocked earlier that led to Rutgers' touchdown. And now we're going to get flags flying, and this appears to be on the Wolverines.
All start. Offense, number 45. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So a little bit of a rocky start here for Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines through a quarter and a little into the second.
Feels like an first important to get the punt off clean, but an important defensive drive here because this Rutgers sideline and team is playing with a lot of emotion and confidence right now.
Robbins, 4th-year starting punter. This time he gets it away cleanly. And Cruikshank watches it go out of bounds near the 35-yard line. Hang on, there's a late flag that was thrown. Down on the Michigan sideline.
Michigan's bent. They're first of the half. There's no penalty. Timeout on the field.
Timeout in New Jersey. Ninth meeting all time between these two. Michigan has won 7 of the 8. Rutgers won the first meeting back in 2014. They've lost the last 7. But they're hanging tough here, although Aaron Young is dropped in the backfield. Mason Graham coming up for the tackle for a loss. Well, Saturday, December 3rd, don't miss the 2022 Big Ten Football Championship game presented by Discover, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Was Michigan in it last year? Will they be in it again this year? Time will tell. Wimsatt out of the gun, fakes the handoff to Young, rolls, fires high, incomplete. Michael Barrett was there on the coverage of Cruikshank. There was not much of a window. 3rd and 10.
Really areas you want to avoid for a young quarterback that's trying to fight himself in third and long, 3rd and 10 plus. Michigan's got some great pass rushers. They got a really deep blitz package. A lot of different ways that they can put the quarterback under duress and force errant throws or bad mistakes.
Quite a few Michigan fans here at SHI Stadium, and they're trying to make some 3rd down noise. Wimsatt, pocket collapses, down he goes. Mike Morris, now over 6 sacks this season, near the top of the Big Ten.
And Mike Morris, I thought it was really interesting talking to defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. He was experienced last year. This isn't his first year getting significant snaps, but last year with Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo, they found him dropping into coverage more often than he was rushing the passer. This year, he's really blossomed into their best pass rusher, and that time, the talent and the skill showed up.
So now, after a 9-yard loss, a punt and a fair catch by A.J. Henning, and Michigan will have pretty good field position after a 37-yard boot. Wolverines getting the ball back, up 4.
If you want to be on the field tonight at SHI Stadium, you better bring it. As physical a game as we have seen this year, especially from the Rutgers defense. Goal line stops on Blake Corum, big-time hits, and you can sense that this Michigan offense, for the first time this year, guys, feels like physically it's met its match. Sure, Maryland was within a touchdown, Michigan State hung around, but physically this is the first time this Michigan offense has dealt with the defense that is delivering as many blows as it's taking.
They'll try to get their footing here, but that Rutgers defense good again. Christian Izzian, Robert Longerbeam in on the tackle. I think earlier today, Ohio State struggled against Northwestern. Eventually won 21-7, and so far here, Michigan struggling a little bit.
Yeah, Rick, that's just a great observation, a great call from Rick. Michigan's identity really has been to impose their physicality on teams and wear on you throughout the game, but this Rutgers front seven doesn't want to hear it. They're physical in their own right, and they came to play today.
Second down and 9 now for McCarthy. Quick throw, and that is Colston Loveland, the freshman tight end that they are very high on, but he's going to be a few yards short, and it'll bring up third down.
Schoonmaker got banged up on that last drive. He kind of came off the field, and you now see Colston Loveland in, and here you are in a situation where you might come back to the tight end too. Colston Loveland staying on the field. They're bringing in Max Bredesen, another tight end, so we'll have to follow what's going on with Schoonmaker to see if he's good and healthy. But one thing about Michigan's offense, the whole playbook is open in these situations. Certainly run is on the table, play action to the tight ends. Here's your young tight end, talented freshman, and in motion there comes Max Bredesen, the sophomore.
Handoff, Corum, and he picks up the first down. Michigan was 0 for their last 4 on third down until that conversion by Blake Corum.
That's for that second down catch. 6 yards, not going to really make any highlight reel, but you get a young guy, he catches the ball clean, he falls forward, 6-7 yard catch, but it gets you into third and manageable, and it allows you to have the run strongly on the table, and they're able to convert the first down there.
Blake Corum, who's had 5 straight games of 120 yards or more. He's now at 13 carries, 59 yards.
Well, heavy personnel, 3 tight ends. Once again, Schoonmaker is not on the field.
Edwards behind those blockers on the left side, and he got hit hard by Avery Young. Very experienced defender playing in his 54th career game tonight.
Oftentimes the tight ends are going to take you to the ball. You see 3 tight ends there down to the left. They're all blocking down in the gap, and then Michigan loves to pull their offensive linemen around against the grain as lead blockers for these talented running backs.
Now you see Bredesen motion back near McCarthy, and he's going to be the lead blocker for Edwards, and Edwards is hit by Christian Izzian, but not after he picks up the first down. It seems like Christian Izzian has been in on seemingly every play here tonight for this Rutgers defense.
I turned on the Minnesota tape to prepare for this game, and I try not to look at the roster. I just want to let the tape lead me to who I need to see. Immediately in that game, Izzian popped. He had a chance early in the game to get a safety on Mo Ibrahim. Missed the tackle, but his speed and violence in which he plays the football game downhill really flashed, and you've seen it come into play so far in this game.
Defensive coordinator Joe Harris-Simiak called him a coach's dream. 38th consecutive start tonight for Izzian. On 1st and 10, they're going to hand it off to A.J. Henning in the run game, and the receiver is knocked out of bounds inside the 40.
There's a lot of speed on this Rutgers defense. Deion Jennings, number 17, playing an inside linebacker. He got upfield, and usually once you do that and the offense runs a reverse, you're kind of dead. You're kind of outpaced. But he put his foot in the ground and ran A.J. Henning down, pushed him all the way wide to the sideline. A.J. Henning's their returner, so you know he's got some speed too.
Play clock down inside 5. J.J. McCarthy over the middle, and it is caught. Short gain for Cornelius Johnson. Rick, update on Schoonmaker?
Hopefully ready to come back into the game, trying to talk his way back right now. Something in the upper body. Looks like he's trying to stretch out the left shoulder rotator cuff area. Was catching some passes from one of the staff members, just trying to make sure he could stretch out and do what he needs to do in the pass game.
We also have Eric All, who was lost in week 3 for the season, such a stud tight end, so they're a little thin at that position anyway.
2 of their best returning weapons on offense, but I know they're really, really excited about this guy, number 18, Colston Loveland.
He goes in motion. It's Corum. Corum won't get there, and now you can either have a 50-yard field goal or try for a 4th and 4.
you know, when they went to the run there, that signified to me they were probably going to go for it on 4th down, and Jim Harbaugh is not afraid to go for it. But, you know, the way this Rutgers defense has been playing, they got safeties that are very active in the run game. They're a downhill defense. Michigan's broke off some runs, but it's been tough sledding, and that time Rutgers forces Michigan to bring out the field goal unit.
Moody hit a career-long 54-yarder last week. This from 50. And the wind made it knuckle, and he just missed it wide to the right. Greg Schiano liking what he's seeing so far in this first half. His team getting the ball back, down 4. Folks, tonight only, get 50% off any Big Ten Plus annual subscription. And with basketball season starting this week, this is very important because some games, including men's basketball games, will only be on Big Ten Plus in the coming weeks. So scan the QR code on the screen. We're going to bring it back up at the end of this play, so you have another opportunity to do that. But first, Wimsett throws, and it's incomplete. Batted free by DJ Turner. Download that QR or scan the QR code on the screen or go to BigTenPlus.com/subscribe right now. Take advantage of this limited time offer that expires here in a few hours.
I like deals. I like discounts.
Especially when it's 50% off.
Scan the QR code.
It's like December 26th when you hit the mall.
Some great basketball games coming up.
Second down and 10 here for the Scarlet Knights. Inside of 5 minutes left in the half, trying to set up a screen. And it is caught by Chris Long, but he is draped down quickly by Chris Jenkins.
That's where the accuracy comes into play. He didn't exactly set his feet, and the ball makes his receiver jump up to get it. On those screens, you really want to be in the pocket right on the numbers so you can put your foot in the ground and knife up field. And you know, looking at it, it's 3rd and 8. A more accurate throw, you might get to 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and much more manageable. But once again, this is where Michigan's pass rush can really come into play. Not just their defensive line, but their blitz package.
Rutgers 1 of 4 on 3rd down. They only have 57 yards of offense, but here they are down by 4. Wimsett throws, and they're able to complete it. Chris Long breaks free. Foot race. Moore is going to get to it from behind. Chris Long all the way down to the 18 for a gain of 48.
It really started with the protection there. Michigan's bringing 5 and adding a 6 late. The offensive line does a great job. No one's in Wimsett's face. He then is allowed to throw an accurate pass to Chris Long, and then Chris Long makes Will Johnson miss, and all of a sudden he's running free down the middle of the field and sets up Rutgers inside the Michigan 20 with the chance to put some points on the board.
And Chris Long, before that catch, had 123 yards on the season, and he just had a 48-yard grab there to put him in the red zone. Now Cruikshank, who's kind of a do-it-all gadget guy receiver, gets it in the run game, but he is shoved out of bounds at the original line of scrimmage. 3 minutes away from halftime, and stick around for the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups halftime report. Dave, Howard, Jerry, Joshua will get you caught up with the conference happenings. By the way, Notre Dame at half is up 14-0 on Clemson. Speaking of the college football playoff and the rankings this week being released. Throw to the end zone, incomplete. DJ Turner jarred it free from Sean Ryan. Here is the first rendition. Clemson 4th. Again, Tennessee already lost today to Georgia.
Chaotic day.
Very.
Tennessee drops. Ohio State, inclement weather. They struggled. TCU had their hands full for a big bit of that game, and Clemson struggling early. But, I mean, Michigan, the game we're calling right here, we're watching. They got their hands full with Rutgers right now.
And Alabama's actually down a point at halftime against LSU right now.
Wow. That's why we love college football.
Never know. 3rd down and 10 here. Wimsett steps up. fires to the sideline. It's caught. He's going to be short. Sean Ryan is dragged out of bounds. Well, we've seen Greg Schiano in situations like these be aggressive. What do you do here?
You go for it. And I know Winston took that big shot late in the game last week, but he's a capable, more than capable runner. I think you throw the ball and you let him know, hey, if it's not there, go ahead and show off that some of that athleticism. Michigan is going to need to have someone accounting for his ability to run.
Do you maybe just try to draw Michigan off sides here, or no? You think you actually go for it?
Yeah, you got to use extra counts just because you got it on the table.
They will snap it at 5. Winston got it. First down. Cruikshank. First and goal, Rutgers. Greg Schiano rolls the dice, and it pays off.
I mean, that's an excellent play call. So they bring Cruikshank down to a stack formation and essentially run a pick route. See him there, he kind of delays a little bit. Mike Sainer still has a man-to-man, but he gets caught up, actually runs into Will Johnson, his own guy, friendly fire. And again, you're scheming easy completions for your young quarterback, and he's in big situations, multiple times on 3rd down, that time on 4th down. His accuracy has been there, and he's able to move the chains and get some momentum going.
First and goal, Winston lumps it for the end zone. It's caught. Sean Ryan. Flags come in, but it looks like that's going to be on Turner.
Pass interference. Defense. The penalty flag. Result of the play is a touchdown.
And Rutgers has the lead.
Sean Ryan, 6'2", 200. DJ Turner, 6 foot 180. So Sean Ryan's got 2 inches and 20 pounds on him. That's a number. That's the 4th, 5th time they've thrown him a fade downfield, and he's been great with using his size and using his body. Kind of like a rebound in basketball, you know, understanding where the defender is and effectively keeping your body in between him and the ball and extending to catch it to come down with the touchdown.
How important has 4th down been in this game? Michigan's 2 touchdowns came on 4th down. Rutgers converted a huge 4th down to set up the touchdown pass to Sean Ryan. Scarlet Knights on top. We'll be back in 30 seconds. A sellout crowd here at Piscataway, and Rutgers has taken the lead 17-14. Wimsatt finds Sean Ryan, and now Michigan will have 2 timeouts and 1:44 left in the 2nd quarter. Short kick, and out across the 30. Monday, stream Hoops live on the Big Ten Plus app as the Scarlet Knights take the floor for action against Columbia. There's no plus like home. Download the Big Ten Plus app and subscribe today. As we told you, 50% off until midnight on the Big Ten Plus app.
Two-minute offense if you're Michigan. 1:38 to go. They got 2 timeouts. That's plenty of time to work your entire system. Don't need to rush, but you are going to see some tempo throughout this drive.
McCarthy, 5 of 10 passing it, 66 yards. He's going to the air. And it's incomplete. Looking for Schoonmaker and a late flag back where McCarthy got hit. Looks like it's going to be roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 71. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot includes an automatic first down.
And that is on Aaron Lewis, who started his career briefly at Michigan before transferring to Rutgers.
Yep, really 2 guys, but Schoonmaker ran a really nice route. He started on a stick and then came back underneath. He actually got held on that play, and they didn't see it. It should have been a defensive holding. But if you're Michigan, if your quarterback's healthy, you'll take the roughing the passer on the 15 yards.
Moves the football out to the 47. Edwards, and he's across midfield. We've seen more of him than Blake Corum as of late. Stick around for the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups halftime report here, coming up in about a minute and 20 seconds. Edwards already with 11 carries, but this time McCarthy trying to go to the air, but he's taken down. A big-time sack. Ifan Maije got home, and boy, he had to be careful. He actually ran over McCarthy there after with his celebration, but they did not throw a flag. So now it's a third down at 15. Underneath to Edwards. Edwards, a lot of work to do. Is he going to get there? He got close. He's going to be short by a couple of yards. He got the 2 timeouts. Let's see how Jim Harbaugh plays this.
And he wanted a face mask after that. Rutgers has a timeout. They're not going to call it. If you're Michigan, you can let this wind down.
I'm really confused. If you were going to use one of those timeouts, why not use it right away?
Timeout. Rutgers. Their third and
Rutgers
final
takes
timeout
the timeout. We'll be back in 30 seconds. So Greg Schiano takes the timeout. 4th down and 3 at Michigan. Jake is keeping the offense on the field.
And Luke Schoonmaker, he was out a couple series. He's next to Ronnie Bell, probably JJ's favorite target. He's back in the game there on the inside of the formation. They're all one-on-one coverage across the board.
Rutgers rushes 4. The pass is caught. Big first down. Cornelius Johnson moves the chains.
Man, huge throw, huge catch, big moment. This crowd was already bursting, ready to burst even more in a big moment. One-on-one, your guy Cornelius Johnson, the veteran, wins, and JJ hits him to move the chains. And now what do you do here? You got 17 seconds and 2 timeouts. It's still a chance to put 7 points on the board.
From right here, it would be about a 56-yard field goal for Moody. And McCarthy is just going to tuck it and then get hit hard by Deion Jennings. There is no flag. They say it was clean.
It really was. I mean, JJ tried to deliver the blow here a little bit. Oh, no, he turned away a bit. It's close. Yeah, he didn't really declare himself out of bounds.
Yeah, he was still in.
He was right there, yeah.
And Deion Jennings, who's 5th in the conference in tackles, now has 70 of them on the season.
JJ's tough as nails. He's got a hockey background, but that's your starting quarterback, your star cornerback. 1 yard doesn't mean much in that situation. You'd rather have him get out of bounds and avoid taking that hit.
12 seconds, the 2 timeouts, 2nd and 6. McCarthy working the sideline, caught. Gonna have to use the timeout. Schoonmaker with a catch. We'll be back in 30 seconds. They added a second from 7 to 8. Michigan, 1 timeout, so you can still run one more play here, right?
Yep. And we'll see what that is. Is it a run to set up a field goal on the hash or in the area Jake Moody likes? Or do you try to take a shot at the end zone? That's pushing it a little bit, but no, J.J. McCarthy has taken some shots here in the first half, and it's something to watch in the second half. He's so talented. He's your leader. You want him to avoid taking those big hits and get down when he can.
Rutgers will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Keep that in mind. McCarthy down the sideline. Wow. Did he get a foot in? Ronnie Bell went up to high point it, and they're going to say incomplete. So now you've got Jake Moody, reigning kicker of the year in the country, who missed from 50 earlier. Here was the Bell attempt.
Wow. Ronnie Bell went up top. Doesn't count, but heck of a throw, heck of a catch.
And a good play by Max Melton to get him out of bounds defensively. And it is a 50-yarder. Remember, he missed from here earlier. And this time, he missed wide left. Earlier was wide to the right. Rutgers has the lead at intermission on the 5th-ranked Wolverines. Down to Rick.
Coach, an unbelievable first half. Onside kick, going forward on 4th down. Why is the aggressive play calling the way to be tonight?
Well, they're a really good team, and we feel like we have to be aggressive to have an opportunity to win.
You have matched up with them every single snap physically. How important is that physicality to the success in the second half?
It's everything. You know, they don't give trophies away for first halves.
You've always talked about special teams in this game. They missed 2 field goals. You block a punt. How key will special teams be in the second half?
It'll be huge.
Greg, good luck.
Thanks.
Greg Schiano very curt but focused as Rutgers has a 3-point lead. Rick referenced it, but 2 missed field goals for Michigan. A blocked punt and 2 penalties. You see the tunnel, the issue last week in Ann Arbor, but you see the referees separating the 2 teams as they go to their respective locker rooms here in Piscataway. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups halftime report coming up. Through 2 quarters, we got a ball game. Scarlet Knights up 3.
Upset brewing in Piscataway. Sean Ryan fighting through the pass interference to haul in his 3rd touchdown of the year. Rutgers on top of number 5 Michigan at the break, 17-14.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. And by Discover, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. Military appreciation game for Rutgers. 2 MH-60 Seahawk helicopters landed near SHI Stadium yesterday. Helicopter C Combat Squadron 28 out of Norfolk, Virginia, led by Squadron Commander Colleen Minihan. A cool sight, and what has been so far a very interesting evening of football on Military Appreciation Night. Rutgers, who will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, leads 17-14 at intermission against the number 5 ranked team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, Brandon Gaud and Jake Butt. So you think about that first half, special teams kind of stole the headlines. Rutgers had the block punt, scooped and scored it for a touchdown. Michigan missed 2 field goals. Michigan also had 2 special teams penalties.
And when we were talking to Coach Schiano yesterday, he mentioned, hey, to win this game, we need to be at our best. And then we're going to need to force Michigan to make some mistakes. And some of those were self-inflicted, too. The 2 missed field goals, that's on them. The blocked kick ends up giving 7 points to Rutgers early in the game. And another thing about special teams plays, they're big momentum plays. The sideline gets fired up. It generates a lot of belief for your own sideline. And all of a sudden, going into half, Rutgers is telling their guys, hey, we can win this game.
And the 2 missed field goals, I mean, look, Jake Moody last year was the best kicker in the country, won the Lou Groza Award. Not easy field goals, both 50 yards, but he missed both, and those could loom large as this ball game continues to go.
Yeah, that's 6 points right there, and all of a sudden Michigan would be in the lead. Had he hit both of them, if he hits even one, it's a whole different ball game. Now, another thing we're looking at here too, Brandon, is the quarterback play. We talked about in the opening, Wimsatt getting, one of his early starts in his young career against a really great Michigan defense, and he's absolutely answered the challenge up until this point. Hasn't been perfect, but for the most part, he's thrown accurate passes, he's been on time, and he's done it in big moments as well.
Look at the rushing yards. Rutgers 1, that is not a misprint, 1 rushing yard. Michigan 125, but yet it's the Scarlet Knights up by 3. Celebrating Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Time to celebrate Fansville and college football with an ice cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. The Rutgers Boardwalk this afternoon as everyone was filing in and tailgating and having a good time. It was billed as a sellout. It has been a sellout, and the crowd has only gotten more animated as this game has remained close so far through 30 minutes. Let's go down and check in with Rick Pizzo.
Brandon, I had the chance to catch up with Jim Harbaugh as he came out of the halftime tunnel, asked why Michigan wasn't able to impose its will as it has all season long at the point of attack. He said he's been really impressed by Rutgers' physicality, called it a dead even game. I asked if that meant offensive adjustments in the second half. He said absolutely. I asked him to specify if Michigan would maybe try to spread it out and go wide side instead of pounding it inside the tackles. He simply looked at me and winked and said, as I said, we have some adjustments we'll make in the second half.
Well, they're going to need to make some after a shaky first 30 minutes. Keep this in mind. Rutgers has lost 35 consecutive games to ranked opponents. They haven't beaten a ranked opponent since 2009. Now, there's a lot of football to play, but they have the football up 3 here to start the third. In fact, it's their first lead against a top 5 team at the half since 2002 when they were leading against Miami.
They certainly deserve to be leading this game the way they played in the first half. Defense been flying around. I mean, Michigan's MO throughout this whole season with that offensive line and run game has been to impose their will and win the physical battle up front. Rutgers, for the most part, has been answering that challenge, and in many cases, they actually won that battle of physicality.
Gavin Wimsatt back out to pilot this offense. Low throw scooped off the turf by Cruikshank, but he's going to lose a yard. All right, top performance index here brought to you by Invesco QQQ. Third quarter been pretty kind to Michigan so far this season.
Credit to Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator. His in-game and halftime adjustments have been a big reason they've been able to have so much third quarter success. You just heard Rick say it. Jim Harbaugh said, yeah, they're going to have some answers and they're going to go to some new things to try to find some light in this game.
After a loss of 1 on first down here, 2nd and 11, they're going to pitch it on the inside, but Michigan is ready for it. They were not fooled at all. Chris Jenkins. Boy, he and Mozzie Smith on the interior of that D-line, Jesse Minter told us, just been so magnificent this year.
They said, we asked him, we're like, hey, what's the most consistent group you've had on this defense? Because they call it the no-star defense. Well, he immediately went to the interior. That's where their veterans are. And already early in this drive, you're seeing those guys show up. And now a chance for that interior to get after and rush the passer as well. Remember, early in the first half, Sean Ryan caught a big slant route on third down. It's a chance for Michigan's defense to get off the field.
Third down at 10. Michigan rushes 4. Wimsatt caught, long room to go though for Jones, but he gets there. Shameen Jones, the 5th-year senior from the Bronx, gets the first down with a gain of 12, but there is a flag in the backfield here.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty, third down.
And that's on the left tackle, Willie Tyler, so cancel that out.
Moments, right? You're sitting there 3rd and 10. Michigan feels they have some momentum. They're ready to get off the field, and yeah, that's holding, but you move the chains. Your sidelines excited. You're celebrating. Michigan a little deflated. They can't get off the field on third down again, and then the flag gets thrown and the life is sucked out of you. 3rd and 20 is just an almost impossible down to convert. Screens, draws, you don't necessarily want to throw it downfield. Otherwise, it's essentially a Hail Mary.
They need to get to the 35. To the outside, Cruikshank at least getting some of the yardage back, but he's going to be brought down well short of the line to gain, and Rutgers will bring out Adam Korsak for the punt. That's such a crucial penalty, and Michigan will get the football less than 2.5 minutes in here to the third quarter. Adam Korsak is less than 20 punts away from the all-time college football record of 337. This will be his 318th career punt. Senior from Melbourne, Australia. Oh, wait. And now he punts it. Had to do a little Olay. But he eventually boots it. Now here comes a flag after this settles down around the 29. It was Cornelius Johnson who was coming there to try to block the punt, and Corsack sidestepped him. 47-yard kick, and now we wait for Jeff Cervinski.
Kick catcher interference. Kicking team number 6. 15-yard penalty that added to the special pile of foul. First down and 10, Michigan.
Built for Success, brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. And Blake Corum, 5 consecutive games with 25 or more rushing attempts and at least 120 rushing yards.
You know, he threw up there early in the game, and then up into this game, he'd been getting a heavy workload. You'd seen a heavy dose of Corum each week, 25, 30 carries. But throughout that first half, we didn't see as much of Corum as I would have expected. But here he is out next to his partner, J.J. McCarthy, to start this drive.
14 carries in that first half, but Edwards really got a lot of the carries late. Edwards finished with 10 carries. First and 10, it won't be Corum. It'll be a throw to the outside, a low throw. Johnson picks it off the ground and stretches into Rutgers territory at the 49.
14 carries. That's on pace for 28 carries.
But a lot of those were early.
Yeah.
And I think 5 of them were inside the 5-yard line.
You know what? You're right, yeah.
For Blake Corum. Now, but you talked about it last week. He had a career-high 33 rushing attempts. And they're actually going to say that they are reversing that to an incomplete pass. They say it hit the ground in front of Cornelius Johnson. He looked like he caught that.
His knee was down as he caught it. Yeah, he went down to get it and his knee touched.
And he caught it right at the original line of scrimmage, so there you go.
Donovan Edwards back in the game. They took Corum out, and he's a great receiver. They're motioning him out to the receiver position down at the bottom of your screen.
Rutgers rushes for McCarthy. They go for him. There is Edwards. Well, Matt Weiss this week, one of their co-offensive coordinators, says that if he was a wide receiver, he'd be one of our best on the team. He picks up 26 there.
That's great. I mean, he's just kind of running down the sideline in between the corner. The safety can't get there in time, and J.J. McCarthy, accurate strike. It's called a hole shot because it's that hole in between the corner and the safety. Schoonmaker was running a stick route. The cornerback sagged off Donovan and played the stick, and that's how J.J. was able to get it out to him.
Edwards gets a breather on this play. 59 yards on the ground, 38 through the air for Edwards. McCarthy over the middle, caught, dropped. Schoonmaker had it, but it was jarred free.
This is a great shot by J.J. McCarthy down the field. He's got his big tight end. He puts it up top. And Schoonmaker had his hands on it. But Tyreen Powell ran down the field with him. Schoon had his hands on it. Looked like he was going to make a clean catch for a touchdown. And Tyreen Powell was able to jar that ball loose. It's a lot of credit to the linebacker running downfield with a great tight end in Schoonmaker and forcing the pass breakup.
Tyreen Powell, a sophomore from Vineland, New Jersey, who Greg Schiano says is going to be a stud here. You're starting to see signs of it. Corum, short gain, not a whole lot there. So now you're dealing with a 3rd down and long. Your kicker has missed 2 50-yard field goals going this direction. From here, this would be about a 45-yard field goal.
Rutgers has done a good job of pressuring J.J. McCarthy throughout this game. He's taken a couple shots.
Let's see where he goes. Working the chains, caught right at the marker. And that's Morris, rarely targeted, but he gets the first down. A huge conversion. First time they've looked the freshman's way tonight.
Rutgers did bring the pressure there. That's how you got to have one-on-one coverage down the field on Tyler Morris. Offensive line did a good job of picking it up, giving J.J. a clean pocket. and he gets it out there on the deep stick route, the out route to number 13, Tyler Morris, one of the 3 talented freshman receivers Jim Harbaugh is so excited about.
Yeah, and Sharon Moore told us this week we want to get them more targets, but we have so many good playmakers that are older ahead of them. But we've seen both Walker and Morris be targeted tonight. And here it's Andrell Anthony, the wide receiver, being handed the ball in the run game, but he's going to be hit for a loss back around the 20 by Keontae Hamilton of that Rutgers defense.
Number 25, Shaquan Loyal. Luke Schoonmaker was trying to block him. That was the key block. If Schoonmaker was able to match him up and have a clean block, there was going to be some space there, but Shaquan Loyal was able to disengage and force a cut deep in the Michigan backfield.
This time McCarthy from under center will give a tote to Corum. And Corum, who had a great start to the game, has been pretty quiet since the second quarter began. He gets 6 yards there, brings up 3rd down.
It's not a 50-yarder, but you wonder if you have 2 downs here the way Moody's missed 2 field goals. Jim kind of likes to go for it, Coach Harbaugh, on 4th down anyways. We'll see the philosophy. If he runs it, maybe you're thinking 2 downs. Running it might be on the table anyways.
Corum out, Edwards in at running back. 8th play of the drive.
No one in the middle of the field there. Look between the hashes. There's no safety help.
Instead, he goes left side, and it's caught. No signal, yes. Touchdown, Donovan Edwards. We talked about his pass-catching prowess, and he's able to reel that in the back of the end zone, and Michigan is in front.
So football is a game of matchups, and they think Donovan Edwards as a running back, him matched up on a safety. You see 4 there, Igbinosun. Donovan Edwards matched up on a safety or a linebacker is one of their best matchups that this Michigan offense has. It's a heck of a job by Edwards coming back for the ball, contested catch. That's uncharacteristic for a running back. And yes, that is a catch.
Donovan Edwards, who was the 3rd-ranked running back in the 2021 class, 5-star from West Bloomfield, Michigan, local kid, top 50 recruit. And we've seen him run it, as we talked about. He can catch it. We've seen that too.
Twice on that drive, they came to him down the left sideline. Twice they were able to connect.
Sharon Moore told us because of his ability to run it or catch it, he puts defenders in conflict, and he's shown that this season. Moody for the extra point, and Michigan leads 21-17. J.J. McCarthy, the sophomore, hooking up a couple of times on that drive with a fellow sophomore, Donovan Edwards, to put the Wolverines back in the driver's seat. Donovan Edwards, touchdown reception, Michigan up 4. On Monday, the Wolverines host Purdue Fort Wayne, and then Wisconsin takes on South Dakota. Basketball returns Monday on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Hard to believe it's crossover season, as we like to call it when it hits. But Michigan right now getting the lead back at 8-0, ranked 5th in the country, chance to climb in the polls likely this coming week based on what's happened today around the country. Let's look at a flashback. Late November of 2020 during the COVID-shortened season. It's the last time these 2 teams played here. There were no fans, but it was a triple overtime thriller. Noah Vedral led the team back. It was tied at 42 after 2 overtimes, but Hassan Haskins went over the top on 4th down for the game-winning score.
Really, Brandon, this was a turning point, essentially, in the Michigan program. This is when Cade McNamara comes in. He leads the team to the win. He finishes out the rest of the season, then gets the start next year, and obviously they become Big Ten champions. They beat Ohio State, but as you look back at their record from that game, they have been outstanding and have won the majority of the games. And
they'll start this drive on the ground, and a great play by Junior Colson. who leads the team with 60 tackles. He was all over that. A loss of 4. And now Rutgers has -3 rushing yards in this game.
Yeah, if you just looked at the rushing yards and the time of possession, if you told us those stats, independent of the score, you'd think Michigan would be dominating this game. But yeah, we talked about some of the special teams, the play of Gavin Wimsatt. That's been how they've been able to stay in this game.
This has been an issue with the Rutgers ground game. They only had 48 rushing yards last week. This time pass is intercepted. Michael Barrett picked it. And Michael Barrett takes it down to the 10-yard line.
Well, this is where the youth might be starting to show for Wimsatt, because Michael Barrett just dropped right underneath that. He's playing the linebacker position. So there's Michael Barrett. He's lining up like he's going to blitz, and he's dropping right to that curl zone, and they're running a curl route. Wimsatt just doesn't see him and throws the ball. And it's where some of the youth is. Just because they're up on the line, you think they're going to blitz, you don't think you're going to be there. You still have to have eyes on the throw and make sure that there's no defender there before you let it go. And I'll tell you what, for Coach Mincher, the defensive coordinator, he's happy to see a turnover. That was a point of emphasis for this Michigan defense.
Yeah, they haven't gotten a lot of takeaways this year. Now Corum up the middle with a full head of steam. And down to the 1-yard line goes Blake Corum. So Michigan scores. They get the interception. And now 1 yard away from adding to this advantage.
Back in the area where it's been so tough. This is where Rutgers defense really started to build the momentum in the game from a physicality standpoint. But you can kind of feel Michigan ready to take this game over. Chance for them to impose their will, as they've done so much throughout the year down here inside their own 2.
They've had touchdowns on all 3 red zone possessions, trying to make it 4 for 4. Handing it off out of the I formation. Second effort. Corum is in. Touchdown, Michigan. Flag coming in here at the end of this.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And Michigan has 2 touchdowns in 91 seconds. See if he stays up. Yep. Can't see that right elbow. That's the only question. Was that down? There's not enough, I don't think, to overturn that. And I don't think it was down anyway.
You know a good football player when they play with desperation. Can't you just feel the desperation by Blake Corum? It looks like he avoided having that elbow touch.
The ruling on the field was a touchdown. That play is under further review.
They'll take a look at it. If it stands, Corum has now 16 rushing touchdowns this season. He came in with 14, which was second best in the entire country. So his Heisman candidacy continues to strengthen here tonight.
It goes back to the context. Hendon Hooker in Tennessee, they lose today. Hooker didn't play his best game. C.J. Stroud, they squeak out a win. He didn't play his best game. So Corum's got a chance to seize some of that Heisman juice.
Dean Blandino, rules analyst. Did we miss anything here on this play, Dean?
No, I think you guys described it really well. We're looking for a first body part other than a hand or a foot. It looks like it's going to be that right forearm that hits. Good extension. To me, the ball is breaking the plane before he's down, or at a very minimum, you can't tell for certain. Ruling on the field was a touchdown. To me, this should stand.
All right, Dean. Thank you very much. And if it does, you want to talk about a quick change in momentum. Two scores and the interception in between in 91 seconds.
It goes all the way back to that penalty on 3rd and 10. Rutgers throws a shallow route underneath. It looks like they convert. It looks like it's like, oh man, Michigan, you couldn't get off the field. They end up, it's a penalty. They're forced to throw a screen.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
And Blake Corum, 2 tonight, 16 on the season. And now he is tied at the top of the list. Mo Ibrahim, who Rutgers had to deal with last week, is right behind with 15. And Moody adds the extra point. Michigan a perfect 4 for 4 in the red zone tonight, something they wanted to improve upon. They were 9th in the Big Ten before the game. It's been better tonight. Michael Barrett got the interception to set up the Corum touchdown. Well, season comparisons. Last year, 7-0 start, top 15 defense, or offense, top 10 defense. 6 wins by 20 or more. Yeah, check those off. This year, they beat Michigan State, something they did not do last season. Ohio State and Big Ten champions, still the question mark, but Jim Harbaugh and company, they not only have eyes on that Big Ten title, obviously, they're hoping this year for a chance at a national title. And they were down 17-14 at half, but that has quickly changed. Well, Wednesday, stream Women's Hoops live on the Big Ten Plus app as the Wolverines face Delaware State, season opener. There's no plus like home. Download the Big Ten Plus app and you get 50% off if you download it by midnight tonight. An early holiday present for yourself or for a loved one. But do it for yourself. Jim Harbaugh hoping he can breathe a little easier as this game continues. Certainly wasn't at halftime. Wimpson hit as he throws, and another interception. And guess who? It's Barrett again. And this time, Barrett takes it in for the score. The fifth-year senior who came back for one more year is having a career night in New Jersey.
Well, last drive he didn't see him. That was on him. Here's Barrett once again in that left linebacker position. This one, to me, I thought it hit Cruikshank right in the hands. Maybe not the easiest catch, but you certainly want to come down with that. And Barrett's like, sure, why not? I'll take another one. Spin move down the sideline, gets to celebrate with the guys, and they got those turnover bucks waiting for him.
3 touchdowns in a minute and 42 seconds. The last 2 touchdowns have come in an 11-second span, and all of a sudden Michigan has full control.
So let's see it. Not a tight spiral, not a perfect throw, but a throw your receiver should be able to come down with. That's what happens in the game of football, man. Your missed opportunity is someone else's taken opportunity, and you bring up the scoring in bunches. I go back to that committee when they're talking about Ohio State. They loved the fact that Ohio State scored in bunches against Penn State late in that fourth quarter. Rutgers maybe not Penn State this season, but Michigan's still showing, hey, even if we don't play perfect, we can score in bunches too. We can make it hurt very, very quickly.
And how about Michael Barrett? When I asked Jesse Minner the other day, tell me about a guy on this defense who has really come a long way, and he said Michael Barrett has been a pleasant surprise. He has exceeded expectations. I mentioned he came back for a 5th year. He had a smaller role last year, didn't play a whole lot, but he stuck it out, and now he's a guy that's out there all the time making big plays.
And a big part of that too, Nikhai Hill-Green was expected to be the starter, and with his injury, Michael Barrett again has made the most of that opportunity.
Interceptions on back-to-back plays and a pick 6, and all of a sudden the Rutgers fans have gotten eerily quiet here at SHI Stadium. Rick, what do you have?
It's going to be a very interesting drive for offensive coordinator Nunzio Campanelli. He spent the last couple of minutes pacing up and down the Rutgers sidelines, literally staring a hole through that play sheet. As he told us on Friday, the last thing he wants to do is put his young quarterback in an unwinnable situation. So now, here you are. After 2 mistakes, even one that went over a receiver's head, his play sheet now shrinks. The number of plays he probably feels comfortable calling drops by 30-40%. You know Michigan knows that, so we're going to see exactly what we saw right there, and the Wolverines are going to load the box and dare Rutgers to throw it again, hopefully forcing Winston into another mistake.
And remember, Nunzio Campanelli takes over as the offensive coordinator after Sean Gleason was fired on October 9th, so a lot of moving parts.
And the injuries have hurt him too. You lose probably one of your best weapons, was becoming one of your best weapons in Samuel Brown, the running back. And as he's looking at that play sheet, they haven't been able to run the ball, and that play sheet shrinks a lot when you can't establish the run.
Not a single rush yard tonight. That ball is high and incomplete, trying to get it to Sean Ryan. You know, Gavin Wimsatt missed last week high a couple of times, and we've seen that a couple times tonight.
But, you know, here's the thing is it's a little bit better, and you can live with that. It's not perfect, but you want to see progress. You clearly see the ceiling. There's been some throws today where you're like, all right, yeah, I see what Schiano sees. This guy can be special. Again, not perfect, but progress.
He was a 4-star ranking out of Owensboro, Kentucky, the highest rated quarterback in Rutgers history. Left Owensboro High School last year as a senior after 2 games to enroll early. Now getting a chance as a starter in his 2nd season. He's going to loft this in the air, and Cruikshank is going to pull it in. Or did Sanders still pick it off? No, they'll say it's a catch by Cruikshank.
One thing Wimsatt does really, really well is throw that deep ball. A couple times today he's been able to connect. This is just a battle down the sideline. Cruikshank and Sainristil. Sainristil comes up with it after the fact, but that's a catch for Cruikshank and a great throw. Great confidence builder for his offensive coordinator there with Wimsatt throwing an accurate ball down the sideline.
Gain of 28. Rutgers' first down in the 3rd quarter. They'll try to get something going on the ground, and that's their best run of the night. Kyle Monungai, the sophomore from Roseland, New Jersey, gets the carry up the middle for 8 yards.
We'll watch how the rest of the game goes, but to me, looks much more poised in the pocket. Yeah, he's missed on some high, but he's been much more accurate than he was last week. The receiver drops have improved slightly. Another one got batted for an interception, but we're talking to Schiano. He said not just for the quarterback, but for the whole team, it's about the process. You focus on the process, and the results eventually come.
Wimsatt escapes. And nowhere to go. And he's going to step out of bounds, taking a loss.
It's a small detail here, but I want you to watch the route concepts. Everything is going to the left for Rutgers. And as Wimsatt steps up in the pocket, he scrambles to the right. You got to know where your routes are, because when you scramble to the right, there's no answer. If he had it back, he'd like to maybe peel around and try to find some ways to scramble out to the left, where he does have some options to throw the ball downfield.
Well, and probably he's going to need to learn. He took a loss of 5. Just throw that past the chains out of bounds, right?
Great point.
And because of that loss of 5, it's 3rd and 7. Michigan gets pressure. He's in trouble. And down goes Gavin Wimsatt. That Michigan defense came in with 26 sacks, top of the conference, and they've got a couple more tonight.
The pocket just caved in. Mike Morris, Taylor Upshaw. You got Mozzie Smith rushing in there. You got Yabi Oki. And it's just a slow death. Everybody's just squeezing the pocket in. And down goes Wimsatt.
And Wimsatt, 2 interceptions. Now on that drive, takes a sack to end it. And Korsak, he almost got that blocked. Had to be careful there. And it checks up nicely around the 8. 3rd quarter has been dominated by Michigan. They've scored all 21 points in the 3rd. Now they've got the ball back. Things are going to be shaking up here in the college football playoff. Look at that line at the bottom. You already had Tennessee lose today. Clemson is down 28-0 to Notre Dame, and Alabama is only up by 1 against LSU. And so Michigan might be going up in the rankings. We'll see. But at half, it didn't look like that may be the case for Michigan. They were down 17-14. Things have really changed here in the third quarter. McCarthy back near his own goal line. Beautiful ball, but it's dropped by Ronnie Bell. He had it, but it got jarred free by Desmond Igbinosun, the safety.
It's a really nice throw by J.J. McCarthy. Puts it right on Ronnie Bell, his veteran guy. Gets the ball on his body, too, where it's tougher for a defender to poke it out, but in comes Igbinosun. He's able to jar that bar loose.
Igbinosun from Union High School, just 20 miles up the road in Union, New Jersey. And now on a 2nd and 10, it's going to be Corum. And Corum is hit and dropped. And remember, up in that front of that offensive line, the left tackle, Ryan Hayes, a late scratch. Jeffrey Percy getting his first career start. They tried to run behind him there.
Well, we talk about targeting. Lowering the head a bit. Didn't call it.
And no flag. And really didn't see a whole lot of animation out of Corum or the sideline. Just got the snap off barely. And the throw, and not able to handle it, Cornelius Johnson. And then Melton, who blocked the punt earlier, was there to make sure he didn't grab it. And on 4th down, Michigan will punt it.
Probably needed another half beat. The ball had some juice to it, had a little pace to it. Cornelius Johnson saw it, couldn't get his hands there in time. Just a little miscommunication, a little mistiming between J.J. McCarthy and Cornelius Johnson.
Of course, Jim Harbaugh, former quarterback at Michigan, then in the NFL, having a word with his signal caller. Brad Robbins back in the end zone. And Robbins sends it deep. Fair catch, Aaron Cruikshank just across midfield. 43-yard punt. Rutgers, they're going to need to get the offense going here.
Life comes full circle for Michael Barrett. This is all the way back in the first quarter. Max Melton has an up and under on the rush. That is Michael Barrett's man in there as the personal protector, but don't worry, it's a 4-quarter football game. Starts there with an interception, gets some momentum back to Michigan, gets another interception here, but he wants a little bit more. Spins off the guy, shows some talent down the sideline and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Jesse Minter says Michael Barrett's been a rock star for us. He's certainly been a rock star tonight, a game he'll never forget. And here that defense goes again. They're really picking it up in the second half. And this time Good making the stop for a loss of 2.
Woo. Damn Good, 6'2", 323. Looked like a big bear out there. Got his hands extended out, just grabbed Wimsatt, stopped him right in his tracks. Big fella getting in on the action.
So this Rutgers offense, 5 first downs, -2 rushing yards, and the 2 giveaways. It's been tough to move it against this Michigan defense.
How much harder does that make it on your young quarterback, Wimsatt? You'd love to play complementary offense. When you can't run the ball, that does a lot for Michigan's defense.
And another interception. This time it's the freshman Will Johnson. The 5-star stud still on his feet. And down to the 31-yard line. 3 picks in the third quarter for this Michigan defense.
The tale of 2 halves for Wimsatt. I thought he was doing such a great job for the most part in the first half. He's missed high on some throws throughout the day. This ball just, it's late. It's a little high. It doesn't have enough pace on it. Really wasn't the right read. There was nothing there at all. And Will Johnson is licking his chops, seeing that ball coming right into his hands. And there's Schiano talking to his young guy. What do you say? Live to fight another day. Avoid these big mistakes.
But they have shown up here in the third quarter. Will Johnson getting his first career start because of the injured Jamon Green not playing. And now he gets the interception. Blake Corum, flag comes in. Corum down the sideline, leaping over. He's short, but we have to check the flag back at the line of scrimmage.
I think it's offsides. It looked like Rutgers tried to jump the snap.
Offside. Defense number 51. Penalty decline. The result of the play is a first down.
So watch this, Brandon. Okay, we talk about the offensive line. There's the offsides. And then Corum gets this. And as he's coming up through the hole, look at that ref right in the middle of your screen. Doink. He gets essentially a block on Christian Izzian, and that's a big reason Corum was able to spring it free down the sideline. The ref toppled down and fell to the ground, and I don't think Izzian was too happy about that one.
28 yards for Corum. He's over 100 for the 6th consecutive game. And chance of "Let's Go Blue" echoing through SHI Stadium. Edwards hit in the backfield. Jameer Wright Collins, former running back, coming in on the stop along with Shaquan Loyal for a loss of 2. That was some hard-hitting football. I heard that all the way up here.
And he saw the hole open. There was just green grass, a gap in front of him. And he sprinted downhill. A lot of inertia, full speed. Stopped Edwards right in his track.
Wright Collins switched from running back during camp, and he carried the ball last year. Had 15 rushes, was in the mix, but they thought he'd be better on defense.
Looked good there.
Yeah, looked pretty good. Down to 30 seconds left in the third quarter. On 2nd and goal, McCarthy looking end zone. Touchdown, Cornelius Johnson with a little dance to boot. Michigan has come to life in a big way in the third quarter.
It's a really great throw by J.J. McCarthy. Talk about the red zone, how things get a little tighter down there. Important of your ability to navigate the throw and change the trajectory. See that over one guy, right in pace for Cornelius Johnson. Oh, nice route by Cornelius Johnson too. Kind of basketball crossover right there, and JJ puts it right on the money. Turns his head around, and there's the ball.
And that red zone offense, 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. Just what Jim Harbaugh was hoping for. 42-17. 4 touchdowns in 8 minutes and 1 second. Speaking of seconds, we'll be back in 30 of them. Jim Harbaugh, reigning AP Coach of the Year last season, trying to get his team back to the college football playoff. They trailed at halftime, but they are up big now. Cornelius Johnson with a touchdown reception, 42-17, 28 unanswered for the Wolverines. Moody sends it away. Another touchback. Well, last year you had Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo. They move on to the NFL. Defense was good. Those guys were the headliners up front. This year they call it the no-star defense, but it's still been pretty good.
One interesting thing is they've also called it year 2 of the same defense, even though McDonald left and Minter came in. Last year, they didn't need to blitz. They could rush 3-4 guys because they had 2 elite NFL pass rushers still playing on their college roster. This year, you get to see that scheme start to shine through. They get to get into some of these exotic blitzes. That's why so many different guys have showed up in the sack stat.
And the defense this quarter for Michigan, 3 interceptions and 2 sacks, and all 3 of those interceptions led to touchdowns. And that should wind us down to the end of quarter number 3. Rutgers led at half, and Michigan has said, nah, I don't think so. We're not down with that. And now they're up big as we head to the final frame. Well, as Jerry Lewis used to say during his telethon, we're going back to the tote board here. Bottom right of your screen, Alabama, who was up. LSU's kicked a field goal. They're now down by 2. And Tennessee lost. Clemson losing big to Notre Dame. Things getting interesting after the debut of the college football playoff rankings this week came out.
I mean, just a week ago, we're talking about the scenarios that potentially would lead to 3 SEC teams in the playoff. And, you know, the one thing we don't know, the one thing we know is that we don't know.
Second down at 6 as we start the fourth quarter. That went right through his hands. Al-Shadi Salam out of the backfield, and now third down.
I think Clemson really needed to go undefeated to have a strong case, because some of those wins, you know, Syracuse, Wake Forest got smoked by Louisville unranked. Syracuse loses to Notre Dame. Now Clemson's got their hands full with Notre Dame. You know, one loss for them could really, really hurt them down the stretch of the season. And how about a conversation for 2 Big Ten teams to potentially get into the playoff?
Yeah, I think there certainly could be that case if the only loss for either Ohio State or Michigan is in that game at the end of the season. No question. Wimsett thrown 3 interceptions. Those all came in the third quarter. Now that's an incompletion towards Sean Ryan, and you just feel like the air has been completely sucked out of that Rutgers balloon. And they will punt it on 4th down. Most undefeated teams by conference. Big Ten the only one with multiple.
And it's looking like it'll be favored to be the fact that Michigan and Ohio State will both be undefeated when they play each other in November. Michigan's got Illinois still. Illinois lost today. It's a good roster, good football team. Ohio State has Maryland. Maryland's full of offensive weapons.
Flag here, 47-yard punt. Jim Harbaugh trying to decide whether to accept or decline.
Illegal formation, kicking team, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty. Correction, Michigan has decided to add the 5-yard penalty to the end of the kick. 1st down and 10.
Okay, so a late change there by Jim Harbaugh on the decision. Remaining schedule brought to you by Fubo, and you were starting to hit on this, Jake, but Nebraska, then that game against Illinois, who you referenced, lost today to Michigan State, and of course, Ohio State to finish it all off.
Yeah, you got to handle business. Go back home. You got Nebraska. Can't overlook them. Illinois, even with the loss today, has been playing really good football. They match up well. Defense has some studs there in their front 7, and they build a heavy box to try to stop the run. Be a good challenge for Michigan, and then nothing needs to be said about the game, in my opinion. Might be a little bit biased. Greatest rivalry in all of sports.
And it's big every year. It was huge last year. It's looming to be huge again this season. There's Edwards. 1-yard gain. Monday, basketball is back with a doubleheader. The Wolverines taking on Purdue Fort Wayne. Then Wisconsin opening their season. It all starts with a tip-off show Monday. Big Ten Network, Fox Sports app. Michigan heading into the season, number 22 in the nation on the basketball side of things.
Probably see heavy run down the stretch of this fourth quarter, but we called for to see JJ take some more shots down the field, and he's done that, and some of them he's connected on, some of them he's just barely missed.
Edwards with a short gain. Might not see any more of Blake Corum.
He's checked the box. They're really steady. That's a great performance, right? But it just kind of feels like another Saturday afternoon for him. That's the standard he set.
20 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Coming off his 177-yard performance last week. I mentioned he has 16 rushing touchdowns. The Michigan single-season record was set by his buddy Hassan Haskins last year. 20 rushing touchdowns.
He's knocking on the door.
On 3rd and 8, J.J. McCarthy caught, work to do, stretching it out, Ronnie Bell. And they're going to say he got there. 1st down, Michigan.
A great job by Ronnie to extend there, but let's look at this one. The last couple non-quarterback Heisman winners, and Blake Corum is making a very, very strong case that he should not just make it to New York, but win the Heisman. That's through 8 games, and really, though, Brandon, what it's going to come down to, that Illinois game, that's a good Illinois defense, and then Ohio State in Columbus. If Michigan can come out with a win and he comes out with a really, really big game, that's going to be a huge case for the Heisman voters.
He stays on the sideline. Edwards breaks free. Donovan Edwards almost took it to the house, but Avery Young just clipped him by the shoestrings. Donovan Edwards says, "Don't forget about me."
Yeah, remember, he's a 5-star, and that's a great job by the offensive line once again. And yep, and it's the gap scheme. So look at the left guard right here. They're going to pull him around. That's Giovanni El Hadi. He's going to pull around and meet that Rutgers end lineman. Boom, and then up through the hole is number 82, Max Bredesen. So you got essentially 2 pullers. That's when Michigan's at their best, that gap scheme, and you got a great back with 2 essentially freight trucks leading you up through the hole. It's a great sight.
Edwards now over 100 yards rushing after that 46-yard carry. And Michigan's going to take a timeout.
He'll be pulling around the mountain. There's O'Hadi. There's Bredesen. 2 guys sticking him, and Donovan Edwards up through the hole.
Corum and Edwards, what a duo. 193 rush yards per game combined coming in. Most by a Michigan duo in at least the last 22 years, and they've combined for 213 tonight.
Talked about the physicality of the Rutgers front 7 in the first half, but this Michigan run game just wears on you throughout the game. They just wait. Eventually they feel they're going to break out.
Edwards takes it down to the 10. So Edwards himself has nearly the same amount of yards as Rutgers. Edwards has 160. Rutgers offense has 162.
What a luxury. You want to establish the run. Got a great offensive line. There's been some injuries. Guys just step up. They don't change their identity. And you got 2 great backs. You feel confident can both explode and have a huge game.
Look at the play selection. 41 runs, 23 passes. Pump fake and then way through the back of the end zone. My goodness. Did somebody catch that? I think someone in the band actually caught that football.
Now, he was trying to get to Ronnie Bell there. Ronnie's down there talking to the ref. Like, I get some help here. He ended up on the ground. I think he was trying to plead his case for, yeah, well, you know, that to me looks like it might have been a pass interference.
And then he got pushed down by Igbinosun. I think one of the trombones caught that ball, though. 3rd down and 6. McCarthy pressure. Lets it go. Incomplete. Bell almost had it. Thrown a little behind him, and Christian Izzy and was able to pop it free.
Well, he took a big shot. Conga came around and hit him. I think if he had a cleaner pocket, he's going to make that throw. He's staring at it. JJ's so talented, he still feels he can make that throw anyways, but that will affect your throwing lane. That'll affect your throwing motion. You see, Ronnie had a little bit of separation down there in the red zone. That's the kind of separation you want and can win with. But having a guy in your face just forces that throw to be off by a couple feet.
29-yarder missed 2 from 50 earlier. Confidence builder there for Jake Moody, who is now over 300 career points in a Michigan uniform. 5th all-time in school history. Well, update on this. Bottom right, Alabama leads by 4, but LSU is driving with about 3 minutes left. So see what happens there. You could potentially have 3 of the top 6 going down here this weekend.
Why does that matter? Because think about last year. Michigan gets into that 3rd spot and they're playing Georgia. You know, maybe what would have happened if you're playing Cincinnati last year? Is that a more of a favorable matchup? I'd say so. Rankings matter.
Cruikshank brought down shy of the 25. Well, tonight only, get 50% off any Big Ten Plus annual subscription. Again, this ends at midnight. Take advantage with basketball starting this week. Some of the games are only going to be available on Big Ten Plus. Scan that QR code to download it. By the way, you can rewatch the game you're watching right now, tomorrow or any day thereafter, with the Big Ten Plus app. And when you go to checkout, make sure to enter plus, the code plus, P-L-U-S, at checkout to get the discount. So Rutgers led by 3 at half, but they haven't scored since. And now the running game still can't get going. Let's go down to Rick Pizzo.
Injury update for you, Brandon. During Michigan's last offensive drive, starting left guard Trevor Keegan came off the field, went into the medical tent, came out, still was limping significantly. I know Jake Love's one of the guys that fills in for Keegan and Giovanni El Hadi, but remember, starting left tackle Ryan Hayes is also out tonight with a medical issue. So you need depth late in the season on that offensive line, and right now Michigan has neither guy who normally starts from the left side of their line available to play.
Yeah, and they also still have Trente Jones battling an ankle injury, who helps out at right tackle. A little banged up right now is Michigan's offensive line. And now Al-Shadi Salam a little slow to get up before this 3rd down and 9. We'll step aside for the injury timeout. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. There was a lot of energy in SHI Stadium earlier, but after the 3rd quarter where Michigan totally took control, it hasn't been the same environment. And now Rutgers going back to the air, and that pass complete out to the 30 to Sean Ryan. By the way, the timeout was taken for Al-Shadi Salam, the running back who was dinged up. He did get up and walk off to the sideline under his own power. But now on 4th down, Rutgers is going to punt it. Adam Korsak, the punter, starting in his 5th season. He started all 5 of them. He has set Rutgers single-season net punting records in 4 straight years, and he's trying to do it again. Well, this time he punts it out of bounds, a short punt. He's frustrated with himself. 9:20 left, and ever since intermission, it's been frustrating for Rutgers. What a difference it has been, because at halftime, this place was energized. Rutgers was up 3. Michigan came out of the lockers and said, no, we're not losing tonight.
Well, when we were talking to Schiano, too, this isn't a mystery to them either. He talked about the middle 8 quarters is where Michigan has really, really dominated. I think that really highlights the coaching. All right, the first quarter, you're going out there, you're feeling things out, you're seeing what the other team is presenting to you. Then once you get into the meat of the game, you can make your adjustments. That's what Michigan did mainly at halftime, because that 3rd quarter was explosive. A big reason they've been able to pull away.
And pull away they have. Rutgers has not scored in the 2nd half. And J.J. McCarthy is going to turn around and hand it off. First carry of the ball game for C.J. Stokes, the freshman who has played in now 7 games. So you can still redshirt if you're a freshman if you play in 0 to 4 games. So he is beyond that. That's his 30th carry of the season.
Early in the year, he was really flashing, and other coaches were and still are excited about him. He had some issues with fumbles. To say, all right, freshman, slow down. Ball security is priority, and these are invaluable reps for him as they come down the season.
There's a throw to another talented freshman. Walker drops it, and now a 3rd down and 5.
Talking about some of the freshmen, really talking about the direction of the Michigan program. last year was a huge step forward, getting over that hump of beating Ohio State, getting to the Big Ten championship, not just winning, but dominating and really putting your stamp on it, and then not getting into the college football playoff to where guys on this roster, they've been there before. They know what winning looks like, and they can build off that going forward.
Pressure coming from Rutgers, all sides, and McCarthy throws it away in the direction of Anthony. And on comes the punting unit.
Great job by Christian Braswell, number 6, the corner. Anthony was working a release, trying to get outside. He saw JJ trying to throw the goal ball down the sideline, but Braswell had the clamps on him there.
Braswell has had a good season, 3 interceptions. That leads the team. He's a 6-year senior, 4 years at Temple, 2 at Rutgers, and you've seen so much of that post-pandemic with these guys that have hung around for not only a 5th, but a 6th, sometimes even a 7th year. Cruikshank, fair catch at the 6. 8:32 remaining. Michigan on their way to 9-0.
Dave, Jerry, Joshua, and Howard with you. Quite a second half from the Wolverines.
And this is what it's supposed to look like, right? With a heavy favorite, you might struggle the first half, and you come out, you play your best second half of the year.
We should talk about Michigan's defense because they're pretty good on that side of the ball. Taking the football away is always important.
I got to correct you. This is what you look like when you're a team that wants to compete for a national title. That second half, they were dominant.
Have looked the part for sure. We'll talk about it on the State Farm postgame as soon as the game is over. Guys?
All right, Dave. Yeah, it's been an impressive second half for the Wolverines, no doubt. Now they've got it in cruise control. Dave, Joshua, Jerry, and Howard. They'll recap the entire day of Big Ten football. It's the final drive presented by Auto Owners Insurance. That's tonight, 11 Eastern here when we are done on Big Ten Network. Rutgers has to start here from the 6. They only have 1 first down this half. On the ground, that Michigan defense, even with some reserves out there, is ready. Well, they do call it, as we highlighted, the no-star defense, but there's some stars out there, but it has been a collective effort with this unit this year, Jake.
I would say, as you look at it, the sum is greater than the parts. Throughout the season, you look at the stat sheet in terms of sacks and tackles for losses. There's a bunching of guys, a large grouping of guys that have showed up at different points throughout the season.
Wimsatt rolling back into the end zone, and he's just really got nowhere to go. Flips it in the direction of Young. 3rd down and 9. Well, you mentioned the sacks on that Michigan defense. They have 28 sacks now in the season by 15 different players.
Right. How about that? I mean, the challenge for the opposing offenses too is, hey, last year's Hutch Ojabo, that's challenging in its own right, but at least you could say, let's put a tight end on this guy, let's put a running back on this guy, let's double team him. Problem is, the pressure is coming from so many different places at so many different times, it makes it really hard to say on any given week where you need to put in extra help to help give yourself time in the pocket.
3rd overall defense in yards given up and scoring. Wimsatt from the goal line is going to launch it deep but out of bounds. Chris Long was there. He was double covered, and we're going to get yet another Adam Korsak punt. And you'd like, just for if you're Greg Schiano, you're not going to win this game, but you were saying during the break, you just want Gavin Wimsatt to have some positive things to take away, but unfortunately another 3 and out there.
Yeah, there was in the first half, but at this point everything's exponential. It's all about growth.
And Henning is tracked down at the 41. We step aside for 15 seconds. We'll be right back. Jim Harbaugh, what a turn of the last 24 months it's been for him. You think after 2020 they went 2-4, talks of maybe ousting him, reduces the amount of money that he takes in on the salary. Last year, go to the college football playoff, gets a 5-year extension through 2026. And his ball club struggled for a couple of quarters, but they've taken over. And speaking of taking over, a new quarterback has come in as J.J. McCarthy's evening is done. And in comes Davis Warren, the sophomore from Los Angeles.
Bring up the point, some people wanted to oust Jim Harbaugh, but be careful what you wish for. This guy's one of the best coaches in all of football at any level. He's won everywhere he's been, and you see the program we just talked about it a minute ago, just taking that next step forward.
Davis Warren going to tuck it and run and step out of bounds for the first down. And Jim Harbaugh, I mentioned last year, AP Coach of the Year. He became the only coach ever to win that award in the National Football League, which he obviously did with the San Francisco 49ers, and now at the college level with Michigan.
I mean, what more can you say right there, right? Recognized really one of the few coaches to succeed at both levels, and then the only coach, like you mentioned, to be recognized as the Coach of the Year at both levels.
Went to 3 NFC title games in 4 years with the 49ers. Of course, lost to his brother John in the 2012 season, the Super Bowl. There's Dunlap getting a carry late, and he'll take it down to the 28. Another first down for Michigan.
Go all the way back to my time playing with him in the program he inherited. We were 5-7, didn't make a bowl game, and immediately comes in and challenged us. Guys, it's about winning football games. Every single thing he did was about winning football games, and it's taken some time, but once again, you see the fruits of that labor starting to come to fruition.
Rolling out, Davis Warren, and once again he's going to run it. And slides forward near the 20. And Jim Harbaugh has 2 100 yards rushers tonight with Corman Edwards. He's going to improve to 41-1 with a 100-yard rusher at Michigan.
When you think about a head coach, too, it's honestly less about X's and O's, and it's more about leadership and identifying talent. They go through, they have 2 coordinators that get plucked by other programs in the NFL last year, and he's able to replenish it with more great coordinators. That's the sign of a very healthy program and a talented head coach.
Still a young staff, and a staff that he says really energizes him. By the way, update, we've been telling you about the college football playoff bracket at the moment, and look at the bottom right. Alabama LSU is now going to overtime. Tennessee lost, Clemson lost. Might the 6th-ranked team, Alabama, go down for a second time this season? How weird would it be to see Alabama with 2 losses after the first weekend in November?
You're right, it would be strange. I mean, go all the way back to the offseason. People were saying, hey, this is Nick Saban's best roster. Last year definitely won't happen again, but as I've watched them, I haven't seen that next level. I mean, they're always Nick Saban, they're always Alabama, but they got their backs up against the wall with really their season on the line right now.
Shaquan Loyal is down. There's actually 2 injuries. You also have Jameer Wright Collins on the turf for Rutgers. A couple of key players, Loyal in the defensive backfield, Wright Collins a linebacker, and while they tend to those 2 guys, we'll step aside. Back in a moment. It's still working out the injuries to Wright Collins and Loyal here. Loyal's up. Now, for Rutgers, they started out 3-0, and there's been so much excitement since Greg Schiano took over now in his 3rd season. But they're going to have to, after this loss, find 2 wins in their last 3 weeks if they want to get to a bowl. And they battle. I mean, that first half, they played as good as they've played all year, Jake. It's just Michigan's dominance took over here in the second half.
Schiano's a great football coach. He's a great leader. He's really done a good job with this program. And we asked him that about getting the 2 more wins, the chance to get to a bowl game. And, he didn't downplay it, but he said, hey, listen, what we're trying to build here is something that's sustainable. It's less about any goal down out of our reach. He's like, right now we're not there. We need to focus on the day-to-day, the process. And eventually, as long as we focus on the process, we get a little bit better every day, we'll get to where we're trying to go.
He was here from 2001 to 2011 in the first stint, was the National Coach of the Year in 2006. A lot of the Rutgers fans will remember that his first couple of seasons here, they really struggled. They went 3-20 before he really built it and got things going. And as he talked with us about, you were kind of hitting on it there, Jake, and that's his vision right now. Yes, I want to get to the good space for this program, but we're still building this thing right now.
And here's the thing, too, is New Jersey high school football, they got some quality players out here. There is a plethora of talent. Now, it's competitive. There's other schools that are competing with them, but right in his backyard, I think it's interesting. When you look at recruiting, oftentimes proximity to the school is one of the biggest indicators of how you're able to pluck recruits. And once again, they got a lot of talent out here.
Right now, actually, one of the members of our crew is down injured. That's why there is a pause in play, and Rick is down there. Rick, what can you tell us?
Brandon, it's one of the Big Ten Network staff members who carries one of the parabolic microphones that a viewer may see on the sidelines. They help pick up the sound that is emanating from the field. He was in a little bit of pain throughout the game, and I think his back had just given out a few moments ago. He is so close to the field that the officials have decided that right now it's not safe to play while he is down. He is being tended to first by the Michigan medical staff, and then some local security officials and paramedics have come over to assist as well. Hopefully he's okay. We'll update you on his condition, and as soon as they are able to move him slightly further away from the field, we'll be able to resume play.
All right, Rick, thank you. Chris West in the gray shirt, a member of our staff out there nearby as well. And he just does a fantastic job, and he wants to check and make sure that everything is okay. Chris's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to him. Just hoping, though, that everything is okay on the sideline.
He's in good hands down there. I know Phil Johnson, the head trainer for Michigan. He helped me rehab my first ACL. The staff they got down there helping tend to him.
Yeah, you know, when you saw him go down, you obviously fear that it's something very serious, heart-related. You hope, but hopefully, Rick, what he said might be the case. Again, we don't know, but that is a back injury. You don't want any injury, but right. Hopefully it's nothing dealing with cardiovascular.
It looks like they're going to bring him some help out there.
Yeah, they're rolling a cart out that way. With 4:43 left in the fourth, a game where Michigan has scored 31 unanswered after being down 17-14. Taking their time, want to make sure that whatever is bothering him doesn't get worsened as they move him up and try to get him off the field. Well, they've waved away, being carted off.
They're bringing it back, yeah.
Yeah, they took it away. There it is. Just try to get him seated. And just hopefully he's okay. Round of applause as he gets helped off the field. Another member of our crew that's fantastic, Sean Quashney, there walking alongside to make sure he's okay. And play resumes. 1st and 10 here from the 16-yard line. Backup quarterback Davis Warren is in. Tailback behind him is the freshman Stokes. It will be Stokes who bobbled it, got it back, and then takes it all the way inside the 10. And he's frustrated. He thought if he could just hurdle that last tackle from Mack, he could have gone to the end zone.
They went heavy personnel. They had an extra tackle in there, and well, two guys that don't get too many game reps together in terms of the exchange, but Stokes was able to come down with it and thought he had a chance to make a highlight play, hurdling it and get into the end zone.
Stokes, who was the number 8 prospect out of the state of South Carolina last year, won 3 straight state titles at the Hammond School. He goes off. Dunlap is in. Dunlap gets the carry, and Dunlap down inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal inside of 4 minutes to play.
Isaiah Gash gets his chance now. Fun fact for you, Brandon.
Go ahead.
Son of Sam Gash.
Why
is that a fun fact? Because he's the only fullback in the NFL to make a Pro Bowl without getting a regular season carry, a.k.a. he was smashing mouths and snapping necks at the fullback position.
Now for bonus points, what year was that? Well, his son gets the carry. That Pyle's going to push him forward and in for the touchdown. Well, something that you do here on the first touch of the game. You come in, Isaiah Gash, the Pyle pushes you in from 4 yards out, and congratulations, he has his first Michigan touchdown.
Just talking about his dad, an NFL Pro Bowler. It's in his blood. Physicality. Meets a brick wall there at the 3, but keeps the legs churning. Finishes with the touchdown.
Well, congratulations to that young man. What I was going to ask you on the bonus question was, what year was it that his dad made the Pro Bowl?
Would it be 94? 90s?
Well, you gotta stick with something. You gotta.
Okay. So I was born in 95. I'm going to go 94.
I'll give you the answer after the extra point. I don't want to interrupt Jake Reeder. So he made the Pro Bowl 2 times, 98 and 99.
Okay.
He also was an All-Pro both of those seasons as well. 52-17 Michigan, 285 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. So the storylines today, Ohio State, they struggled, but they got the win 21-7 over Northwestern. Hawkeyes put it all together, blow out Purdue, and Illinois gets upset by Michigan State.
Yeah, it's as you look at the West, the Hawkeyes blowout. Those are 2 words you don't normally associate together, but they found some life with their offense. Michigan State pulls off the upset against Illinois, a team that I was very, very high on. And all of a sudden, the West remains the West, completely wide open.
Coming up after the game, Big Ten Live Football postgame presented by State Farm. We'll break down all the action. Jim Harbaugh wasn't smiling much in the first half. He's been smiling a lot in the second. And they like the offensive line. They also like Blake Corum, who went over 100 yards again today. Michigan has 4 rushing touchdowns. Rutgers has 5 rushing yards. That kind of sums up the story in this one. Rochelle brought down around the 20. Talked about the Wild Wild West. Let's get you the standings after both Purdue and Illinois lost today. Illinois still at the top of the heap at 4-2. They still have to play Purdue.
Look at that. So, I mean, how many teams 3-3? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got really 5 teams all within a game of each other. The West has just been sitting there begging, hoping. Somebody. It started. Minnesota had a chance. Wisconsin was the early season favorite. Iowa was there. Purdue had their chance. Illinois, win today would have been great. Didn't get it done.
And Illinois, I mentioned that they still have to play Purdue. They obviously still have to play Michigan as well.
Well, Illinois, too. 2 losses come from teams in the East. Indiana and Michigan State.
Yeah. The cross scheduling can get tough. Evan Simon has come into the game here Gavin Wimsatt, they said, will be the starter not only today but the rest of the season. But Evan Simon has played in 6 games, 2 starts. It's been a carousel at the quarterback position between Noah Vedral, Evan Simon, and Gavin Wimsatt. They've dealt with injuries this season at that position. This is going to be the first carry for Parker Day, senior running back, a walk-on, getting some action here and taking it out to the 27 for a gain of 5. Thinking about the West as well, a few weeks ago, Iowa looked dead to rights, and they're not having the season they wanted, obviously, but they're 3-3 and right in the thick of it.
That defense will keep them in every game, too.
Another carry for Parker Day. 4th and 1. Monday, hoops, Wolverines in action, and Wisconsin basketball returns. Big Ten Network Fox Sports app Monday. Don't miss it. So 4th and 1 here for Rutgers, and the offense staying on the field.
Going back to Illinois, we've talked about the playoff rankings. I mean, Illinois was one of those teams where you're like, hey, who knows? Maybe they could make a run. Thought they matched up well with Michigan in terms of what they do defensively versus Michigan's run game. But those conversations are donezo.
Yeah, after the loss today. Not going to get there, so Michigan will take over. They can go down to a knee and win this thing 52-17. All right, so let's fast forward with Michigan. We've showed you the upcoming schedule. What is the area or areas that Jim Harbaugh's team has to get better at if they want to try to win a national championship?
You know, it's right there. You know, we talked about it early in the game. It's about J.J. McCarthy, downfield passing. They stretch the field horizontally with their run game. But the more you can stretch a defense vertically, it's just another tool in your toolbox. And there was just a couple throws that were, it's 10 inches off from being a connection. You'll need to make those to be national champions. Ohio State, some of the throws down the sideline, the go routes that showed up against Michigan State last week, showed up a little bit today. Ohio State's got great quarterback, great receivers, so they're going to challenge Michigan's defensive backs. There's little areas that they're right there. They got as good a chance of anybody to make a run at this thing. But the more you can clean up those little details, the better you'll be served in some of those tougher matchups.
Michigan is going to beat Rutgers for the 8th consecutive time. Rutgers won the first ever meeting when they joined the Big Ten in 2014, but it's been all Michigan since. Davis Warren, one final knee, and Michigan pitches a 38-0 second half shutout to win it going away 52-17. Two guys that have known each other since their days in the NFL. They faced each other back in 2013 when San Francisco defeated Tampa Bay, and Jim Harbaugh got the win there, and he now improves to 4-0 against Greg Schiano. But the third quarter, that was the difference maker in this ball game.
Absolutely. Again, those in-game adjustments are so much on coaching and highlight the coach's ability to identify what another team's doing and then go out there and say, all right, let's try this. And for the most part throughout the season, those adjustments have served this Michigan football team really, really well.
28 points in 8 minutes and 1 second in that third quarter, and that included 3 Gavin Wimsatt interceptions, and that was the difference. Corum goes over 100 yards for the 6th straight game, and Michigan had 282 rushing yards.
In a way too, Brandon, the mistakes on special teams. Uncharacteristic for Moody. I know they were longer field goals. You'd expect them to at least make one. The blocked punt by Rutgers punt return team, those aren't great plays. They're not. It's not going to be a fun film session when they get in there on Monday morning, but you'd rather correct those mistakes after a win.
Let's go down to Rick.
Jim, 38-0 in the second half. What did you really like about those adjustments?
Well, I mean, just guys, the players, I mean, they adjusted their chin straps a little tighter, and this guy right here, man, talk to this guy right here. 2 big interceptions and a pick 6. Those are the best kind. Great job, Mike. Proud of you.
Hey, Mike, your coach calls your defense the no-star defense. You guys are so effective. How are you able to do what you're able to do?
I mean, just playing together. Like we all got to work together as a team. The coverage got to cover, the pressure got to get there, and when you combine that, that's just what we thrive off of. We just thrive off of playing together, playing as one accord, and just attacking the ball.
Such an opportunistic second half. What kind of conversations did you guys have at the break about attacking that Rutgers offense?
I mean, we just had a conversation just about playing our defense, just playing like they made a couple plays. We just went into halftime and just decided like we just got to come out and make plays. Like they made a couple plays that they capitalized on, and we just got to capitalize on those opportunities. So we just wanted to just play our defense.
I talked with Coach this week. He said he heard some booing and hissing from the players' lounge when the initial playoff rankings were released. I know you guys aren't trying to send a message specifically, but if the committee's listening, what message do you think they may have heard?
I mean, we're just one of those teams. Like, it's really in our hands right now. We just got to keep winning. That's kind of all we're worried about right now, just winning. Just win out.
Terrific performance tonight, Mike. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What a game for him. 2 interceptions, a pick six, and Alabama has lost.
Wow.
So 3 of the top 6 go down. Michigan will definitely be in the top 4 when the next ranking comes out on Tuesday.
That's about where? Is it 4? Is it 3? Is it 2? Is it 1?
Well, in college football, 3 weeks is an eternity, and that's still what's left in the regular season. Thanks for joining us, folks. Michigan puts up 38 points in the second half to win it going away. For Jake Butt up here in the booth, Rick Pizzo on the sidelines, I'm Brandon Gaunt. Big Ten Live football postgame is coming up next. By the way, a reminder from your friendly neighborhood play-by-play announcer. Set your clocks back tonight. You get an extra hour of sleep. Enjoy it. So long, everybody.